Welcome, everybody. How are we doing today?
Hello.
To another one. I forgot to upload the updated version of the 8-bit intro.
I was kind of wondering about that because I'm looking at. Wait a minute, starting soon. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
This is
no,
this is not what we agreed with.
there.
We
There's
had our lawyer
another.
come out and everything else like that, and it's like, what is
Exactly.
that?
There's another one. You can watch it on YouTube. I've uploaded it there. But
Yep.
we also have a special outro as
We
well. So
do.
stick around for the full
Ooh,
stream for that one.
that sounds absolutely delightful. So, Crumb, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little bit tired,
Good.
but otherwise we're doing fairly well. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. Thank you very much for asking. I had a little bit of a hospital visit on Thursday. Do we have time to tell my story, or should I
Go
just
for
go
it.
through Awesome, cool. Well, everyone knows up here in the wonderful Moose Land of Canada, we're practicing social distancing an awful lot. So, of course, being at the hospital, waiting my turn to see one of our famous free doctors, they got overwhelmed by patients and they're understaffed. So, what should have been like an hour visit turned out to be 8 hours. So,
Oh my goodness.
for social distancing, they place people all over the hospital. And that would have placed me in the mental ward.
Exactly where you belong.
What? No. So basically, I get to hear the screams of inpatients going, I'm not supposed to be here. I want to go home. That was
I mean, that
fun
sounds
to
like
go through.
that sounds like a retail, like a day of work at retail. You know,
I'm not
It's
even
normal.
supposed to be here today.
That's normal.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Oh,
So
man.
it was quite the trip, and but however, I like to tell everyone that my leg is doing a lot better. Not quite there yet, but getting there. It's all good.
Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's well, at least like at least Firestorm says, at least there wasn't like zombies, right? At least you didn't like wake up in a zombie apocalypse. That's
Oh, if that would happen. Oh my goodness gracious. Well,
oh my goodness.
I do run kitchen to zombie walk, so I already know what to do already.
Well, yeah, did you hear about the
Hmm.
new restrictions?
Kind of yes, kind of no. But what did you hear overall, Crumb?
So the Ford government had rolled out today at some point.
Oh,
You know,
today. Or this is
happy
primarily.
Friday, happy Saturday, everybody, because apparently the government's doing work on Saturday. But he's saying that he is extending the restrictions of 10 to 10 people indoors, 25 people outdoors for social gatherings across Ontario now.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
just
not just
not bad.
Toronto and not just putting them in a timeout. Everyone's in timeout now.
Oh God.
I know.
Ah.
I know.
Mm.
It's
So
it's pretty annoying.
it is very annoying, especially for event coordinators such as us.
Well,
So
here's
how
the
am I
interesting
supposed to?
part.
Does that? Do you think that applies to the
Zombie walk, yes,
yeah?
it does.
But they're all dead though.
And it
They're
doesn't
living.
matter.
They're unliving, challenged individuals.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're limited to 25 people. That's it.
But they're not peoples.
Yeah. Well, that's what you got to deal with now.
I guess
That's what you got to deal with now.
Thanks, Rob Ford. Appreciate it.
I know, right? It's a gift that keeps on giving, right? You know.
Pretty much.
Hoorah. Good stuff.
Did you say the line that we did not want to throw away all of the sacrifices that people have made in the last 6 months? Do you use that line?
I don't know. I think probably.
He uses that line an awful lot. Right? An awful lot.
Well, I mean, it seems like it seems like somebody out there is forcing the second wave now. Like there's a
it
quote,
does,
quote,
doesn't
second
it?
wave.
It really, really does. Like as an example, I've got a compromised immune system, and the funny thing is that remember when the Black Lives Matter march happened right downtown Kitchener, and I filmed all of that stuff. Well, I was in the middle of all of that. Didn't get sick. Had a little masky on, but I stood up the whole thing. And it's like, oh my God, who's that?
This is Tom P. He said, went to a GameStop today. It mentioned the upcoming Intellivision release. The clerk looked at me with a very blank expression and no idea what I was talking about. That's exactly why we had Tommy on the show. Because we need to get the word out about the Intellivision. I don't know if it's doing a commercial release right off the top. But I know they're taking pre-orders on their website. Wonderful individual, great project that he's doing. And just as a small thing, I had a conversation with a certain somebody yesterday.
Oh, do tell.
With a certain individual yesterday. Someone who has been going through some hard times and could use a little bit of a boost. I put him in contact with Tommy Tallarico, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that those two make a connection and something big comes with that down the line a little bit. So
when you say hard times, I think of Dustin Rhodes, but he's kind of passed away.
That's true. So, that's the hardest of times.
Hard times. That's right,
the
baby.
hardest of times. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So we have a lot to talk about today.
Awesome. That is fantastic.
Oh yeah, just one final nail in that COVID coffin.
We're putting a nail in the coffin.
I know.
It's over. It's over.
Hopefully, but no. One interesting thing is that the government has been talking about the restrictions, right? And they say they're like restaurants or businesses or event centers that are staffed are exempt from these restrictions.
Oh, that's great. So there's like 25 staff members is not included the 25 members that could.
No, I think what they mean is that if you have a staff, like if you have it in a convention center or whatever else, blah, 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 then, I mean, but for us, this is stuff that's important to us, not necessarily for people in the chat, but for people who run events and things like that. This is signaling to us that, okay, we have the green light to have events and stuff like that as long as they're held in staffed areas and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, okay, well, we'll have to take a look at that, but I don't know what that's going to mean for next year.
Who knows? We're living in a constant dynamic. Interesting times. Tell
this to Mr. Hop Arby's, says.
Is that from our favorite cinnamon? No,
I have the urge to go to Arby's. Let's tickle my tombstone. There we go.
You're absolutely bad. Inside jokes, yo.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be a very interesting time in the next 6 to 8 months.
Oh, heaven forbid! Yes, we'll probably be on our tippy toes, hanging things on by our fingernails, white knuckling the whole. What we're going to do for next year's KCC?
Yeah, I mean, it's still on the fence, on the shelf, whatever you want to call it, about what's going on, because everything is still changing every single day.
It's getting down to that, isn't it? Because basically yesterday we talked about in full length, of course, but how Toronto, Peel, and Ottawa are being bad regions and to be restricted. They're bads. They're so bad.
The timeout corner.
They're bad. Timeout. That's it. You get a timeout corner. And now we wake up like, oh, the whole province has been bad.
Exactly. Everyone's been bad now.
Awesome.
Yeah, apparently we had 400 cases of COVID in one day across Ontario. So
how in the flipping fuck did that happen?
Well, one interesting thing I saw a video. It was like Rebel News Media that released a video about it. But they were saying that Waterloo region has literally like the least cases in Ontario that we had at the time. So the local government here, like the city government, released a statement saying that they're extending the mandatory mask bylaw until May of 2021.
Well, we need more superheroes, right?
Well, okay, and here's the thing. Apparently, at the time that they announced that, we hadn't had a case of COVID for about a week. Like, we haven't had a new case of COVID for a week, and we only had 15 active cases.
I wonder what the
why they were saying that they're going to be increasing the mask regulations when we've literally not seen any spike or anything like that. It was very, very curious. He was saying
it is curious. Hopefully, don't make everyone walk around with an app in a couple of weeks saying,
that's already out.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're making it mandatory for people to use it. So basically, our favorite cell phone companies.
They've been telling people to start using it.
I think either been asking or telling. There's a big
difference. It's everywhere. It just keeps reminding you that, hey, you should download this app. You should download this app. You should download this app.
But I'm poor. I don't have data on my phone.
It goes through Bluetooth apparently.
God. Oh, Bluetooth. Oh, that's even more fantastic. Who knows?
Like again, like it was like it mirrors a fucking storyline that I had for Changeling that I wrote like years ago. It's so weird.
What were the quick broad strokes with that?
It was basically like it was a mad scientist that got accidentally brought over to the hedge. That that transition of him over to the hedge created a human virus, like a human computer virus. And so he was like an AI type of thing that infected both the hedge and the real world. But in the real world, it manifested like a computer virus that was transmitted through wireless signals. And he could control and all that stuff. It was really, really weird and cool. But yeah.
Isn't it weird that our fantasy stories were written so long ago is slowly becoming reality?
I want residuals, man. This is my story.
I want residuals for my stories too, because I know tough times are coming. Tough times are coming.
You could say that.
Well, hopefully we can look at things from an optimistic perspective.
Dark Strange Nico 17 says, hope you guys are doing well. Also sorry to hear about the cases and sorry for not sending those snacks to Mr. Hop. The air quality has been bad for a couple of days and now there's a fire. That's no good.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot something. We had our special broadcast, and the chat that we had to the broadcast was absolutely fantastic. I believe that the actual broadcast was with Tommy, if I'm mistaken not.
Yeah, the Tommy broadcast was awesome. If you haven't checked it out already, you should definitely check it out. He gives some great details.
Best broadcast in YouTube, the bestest ever.
He gives some great details about the Amico that's coming out relatively soon. I'm gonna be grabbing an Amico.
The best
when they open up orders. When they open up orders in Canada, I'm gonna be grabbing myself an Amico.
And I'll be grabbing one as well. So we got like an Amico sandwich. It'd be absolutely wonderful for everybody.
And I want to get one of the new Xboxes too.
Seriously? Oh my goodness.
Well, so my Xbox, Xbox is like super old.
Did you hear that the PlayStation 5 got released early and got sold out like everywhere in seconds?
Well, it was manufactured to sell out. They did it on purpose for publicity.
You think so?
Yes, 100%. They did it on purpose because it's not supposed to release until later.
Well, I heard the Walmart started it first, and when the Walmart ball started rolling, that was pretty much about it. Everyone else went, "Hey, Walmart's doing it. Why can't we?"
It's dumb. It's really, really stupid.
Like
if you're gonna pre-release it. Just do it. Like it was mostly scooped up by people like the second market.
Oh, that's
secondary
awesome.
market people. They're just buying it and turning around and selling it for 3 times as much.
Yeah, pretty
much. Always happens. Every single fucking console release.
I hate that. So you were talking about the new Xbox coming out. You have the old one that's old as dirt.
Yeah, so I have a day one Xbox One. Like I didn't buy it day one, obviously. Like I bought it secondhand, but someone was selling their Xbox One like years ago and they never touched it. They used it like twice. So I have a day one edition Xbox One, and it's kind of aging. So I'm like, I'm gonna upgrade. I'm gonna get the Xbox Series X. I might wait until Costco starts selling them, but I don't know. It could be a little while.
You know what? I would honestly wait for that support.
I know, but I don't know. Like I don't think I want to wait that long.
Really?
Because it could be like 6 to 8 months. I don't know if I want to wait 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than the wait. As everyone else is saying, "Hey, have you played this new game yet?" You're going, "No."
Well, no, there's not really any new games coming out that aren't going to be on Xbox One. Like this is how it usually goes, right? It usually takes like a year or two for games to start diverging from consoles and be way better.
Yeah,
but so far this one's been okay. It hasn't been terrible, and I just think it's time for an upgrade. My PS4 is relatively newer. I mean, I got my PS4. I think mine was like a launch release PS4.
Oh, that's cool.
But like, I'm not interested in the PS5 because I can't stand what they're doing with it.
I
you know that they're not having backwards compatibility again.
What? Really?
They're not including native backwards compatibility again.
I also heard that the new PS5, maybe even the new Xbox, doesn't even have a DVD / loading system. It's all virtual now, which is like, what? Really? Goodness gracious.
My goodness.
I don't know why people are buying this shite.
Yeah.
Like the way I look at
I have a Switch.
Blu-ray.
Like I have a Switch and it's awesome and it's got some great games on it. Apparently Nintendo's working on a brand new console.
Another one.
Again. Like they always have something churning, but like I just care. I just want the new Breath of the Wild game and I'll be happy. As long as they release that on the regular Switch, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's important. That's what's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness. Well, hey, hopefully you'll be able to get some sort of a deal on a new Xbox that you buy, which would be good.
Well, it won't be a deal. I mean, it'll just be like it'll be like the $600 or $700 that it normally is. But
Jesus Christ! And then you got the Amico coming out, which is like $200 with like.
Well, it'll be like 300, 400 Canadian, but
something like that. But however, $10 a game.
I know $10 a game. You can't complain about that.
Nope.
The thing I like about the Xbox though is the Game Pass. The Game Pass is 100% better.
Yeah, you did mention
than PlayStation Now. PlayStation Now is an absolute joke, but Game Pass is like 1,000 times better, and it'll be on Series X as well. So I could still use all of my old games that I purchased on Game Pass, or
that's good.
All the stuff that I've ever bought on the. So to this day, I still can't play games that I purchased on my PS3.
What?
So I purchased games on my PlayStation 3 through the PlayStation Store, and I can't play half the games that I bought on my PS4.
I remember how happy people were when PlayStation came out and PlayStation 2. Everything was backwards compatible.
It was great.
PlayStation 3 came out backwards compatible.
No, it didn't. So the original.
I thought it was 4.
No.
Okay.
The very, very first model PlayStation 3 was backwards compatible with PS1 and 2. Yeah. But everything since launch of PS3, so it was only like 800 consoles or whatever that were ever made.
Wow.
It was the 80 gigabyte consoles. Anything above that were not backwards compatible at all. Period.
Oh wow.
So that's and then ever since then they've never made backwards compatibility.
Those people over at Sony / PlayStation are a bunch of assholes. My goodness gracious.
So
just
annoying.
Imagine a person's library and let's say about the PS3 at launch for our conversation. And they get the PS4 and they realize that none of the games fucking work. Like, fuck, I'll be just livid.
Tickle my tombstone says I heard a certain console is backwards compatible. Oh my goodness.
Oops. That's funny. That's very funny. So, how's the rest of our show turning out today? What do we got in the docket today?
Oh my goodness. There's the reason that we're starting with some fluff is because we have some spice coming.
We do?
We have some spicy things to talk about today.
I don't have any yogurt. Damn it. Sorry, go on.
We're going in dry. It's going to be a spicy one today. So
I'll be good. I'm sorry.
So what I want to talk about a little bit later in the show, like the meat and potatoes here, is because I had a conversation with Drexel on Facebook the other day.
Oh, how's Drexel doing?
I know he's doing pretty good. He's normal stuff. Like he sends me like these weird fucking pictures all the time. It's pretty funny. So I was having a conversation with Drexel.
Hey, Crumb, what do you think of this?
Exactly. He's just like sending me like these pictures of like these really desperate fucking women just on Tinder and shit. It's hilarious. But so he was really upset with something that happened in like I don't know if he was upset, but he was just fired up about something that happened in South America. So there was some South American thing where it might have been Mexico or Argentina or something. I don't know. Something south of us.
Argentina.
Where a trans person was murdered because the trans person was murdered by this dude, like this U.S. Marine guy, because he went down south or whatever else, and then picked up what he thought was a woman at a bar It might have been in like the Philippines or something too. Like it was somewhere that was not North America.
Right.
Anyway, so he went overseas and he picked up someone who he thought was a girl, got them back to the hotel room, and then found out that there was a special surprise.
A surprise package, perhaps?
And then instead of, being like, you know what, I'm good, and then leaving, he proceeded to beat the living crap out of her and drowned her in the toilet.
Oh.
And so he got tried. He got tried and convicted of murder.
Good.
And recently it was overturned by like some appeal decision.
Really?
For some odd reason. And so Drexel was fired up because he's like, no shade on Drexel, because this is exactly why I want to do this stream.
Yeah.
He was fired up because he's like, well, why didn't this person, like, why don't trans people disclose that they're trans before they get into blah 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 blah? And it's like, hold on a second.
Oh no.
I'm like, we get like as a trans person, we get criticized all the fucking time because we identify that we're trans people, and now it's like now when people don't, like, when we get shouted down into silence and all that stuff, they get mad and they snap because blah blah blah. So I'm going to get into that topic a little bit later. It's a little bit spicy. Again, no shade on Drexel, because this is a misconception that a lot of people hold, that trans people, like trans women or trans men, go out and try to date people and they trap them, or like they get an aha moment. That's not the case at all. But we'll get into that in a little bit. We'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, Ragnarok. It was overturned. I don't know the details about it, but it was overturned for some fucking reason. I'm like, all right. Apparently, this guy was
just to jump in just for a second. Drowning somebody is probably the worst way to pass on, to die, to be totally honest with you.
It's a pretty bad one.
It's like I can't think of anything worse. Probably drowning in quicksand, perhaps. But
that was the worst of the 90s, of drowning in quicksand.
Well, and also the 80s as well. But however, super long story short, like it got overturned on what, a fucking technicality?
Well, I don't know.
Fucking toilet. Like
I didn't read into it. I mean, if people want to look it up, it's probably out there. But like, it got overturned, I'm guessing, because the guy had his defense was, oh well, she was alive when I left the hotel.
She's alive and hid in the fucking toilet.
Exactly.
The one of the few things about military people that people kind of forget is that there are ambassadors of their countries, and it's just, those people should be held to a higher fucking standard. Period. Any discussion, etc., etc. And the thing is that for that guy to, no pun intended, get off the way that he did, that's just absolutely fucking shameful. And just because the person just happened to be fucking trans, just fuck right off with that shit.
Yeah, and Ragnarok says, like, I think it's irrelevant if you're not into trans people and you pick up a trans person, you don't just flip out and kill them. It's even more messed up. The case was overturned. I agree. I mean, I have opinions about this, and we're going to get into a little bit later in the show.
Right. Awesome.
But no, I 100% agree with this.
Whew, I'm getting a little spicy.
I know it's going to be, and then the other side of this coin as well. I'm going to get into some of the misconceptions coming out of the trans community, because we just saw an absolute fucking meltdown, pants-shitting meltdown over Gina Carano putting beep, bop, boop as her pronouns in Twitter, because people kept fucking
back to that,
going at her about not having her pronouns. So we're going to get into that too.
All right.
A little bit later in the show.
Okay.
But
there's a hole.
Mr. Hop.
Yes.
We have to address something.
What are we addressing?
Did you realize that I was a criminal, Mr. Hop?
What? You? What?
Did you know I had a criminal past?
Did you really? What
Apparently.
were your thought crimes? Were they online?
Apparently. Well, like, I don't know. I think at this point it's safe to say that there's necromancy at foot.
Okay, Crumb, you're creeping in my territory. What's going on, babe? what is this? What is this necromancy stuff that's afoot here?
Well, don't worry, Ragnarok. We're going to be getting into that later, so stick around. Bebop Boop, you're missing something. I will explain all. Don't you worry.
All right. So what are your necromancy crimes here?
So this is funny because this came up recently on Crow's stream,
Oh no.
and
Did you wish them a happy birthday? Like you
I did. Well, it was on Crow's birthday stream, so
Okay.
I did wish him a happy birthday.
Oh, that's nice of you.
And so it came up that several months ago. This is not new stuff, as well, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Several months ago,
All right.
it came up that a certain individual,
Mhm.
who I'm not going to start drama by throwing around stuff. A certain individual was going behind the scenes and trying to dig up dirt on a certain Nick Rekieta.
Really?
And
why are they playing with our Nikki? Oh, by the way,
And-
Nick wants to come on the show later on today. We've got to make some time for him.
so we'll work on it.
All right, awesome. Sorry, continue.
So so he's starting to start stuff with this dig up stuff on a certain Nick Rekieta, as
Okay.
well as yours truly, saying that
What?
that Nick is flagrantly harboring criminals on his show,
Oh,
saying that he was tired of Crumb thinking that they're cute. Which, for the record, I don't think I'm cute. I think I'm sassy. Just clearing that up
wonderfully sassy.
before that gets spread around the internet.
Well, they're probably going to be clipped out of content. We know this.
so and it was turning out that this individual was talking with another certain nobody on the internet.
All
Again,
right.
not going to bring him up.
Nobody.
So these two were planning some rainbow operations to get information, and it turns out that our favorite bald moron.
You talking about Meathead?
Yeah,
Meathead 99.
Our favorite bald moron.
All right.
NPC number 75.
Number 75.
Was involved in this mess too.
Oh, really?
Because guess what what I'm definitely in danger of. I'm broadcasting from a bunker in the middle of a secret location so that the police can't raid me. I'm avoiding. Absolutely, because I'm so terrified of being persecuted for my absolutely dangerous crime.
Are these physical hard crimes or thought crimes? Let's get that out of the way immediately.
Well, it was because the crux of it was because I defended you, Mr. Hop.
What?
That was my.
How many years ago was that?
That was my war crime here.
So you're dude. That's like I would say WTF, but I want people to get confused for the weekly trending fandom show. But what the fuck? That's like 6 years ago, and that's still floating around like a turd in a toilet. Like
it's wonderful, isn't it?
God,
it's wonderful, isn't it?
Are we internet famous now? Because we got like new kids stepping up, saying,
"Look
what you did! This is absolutely horrible. This is a bad look."
This is like level 7 necromancy at foot, right? At a foot right here. So basically, what happened was several years ago.
Like
Mr. Hop does what he does best and put his foot in his mouth.
Oh no, I did not. And I will correct you on that, my dear.
Let me tell the story.
Funnier and smarter than the whole internet combined.
Yeah, you were 5D before it was cool.
Exactly.
I'm sure you were. So Mr. Hop does what he does best, and says something inflammatory on the internet.
How odd.
Amazing. So let me break this down for you. Okay, it is year
for your audience,
and let me break it down when I don't have a screaming mongoloid in my ear talking over me. Because I tried to do this on that stream, but I kept getting talked over. So,
sorry.
Oh my goodness, Mr. Hop's suffering from the COVID.
I wish I was.
It's wrong from this world. So okay, basically, let's go back into time, into Kitchener Comic Con 1. issue number 1. Okay. We had this 1-day event which we just kind of threw together, and it was a great event and turned out really, really well beyond expectations.
3K 1-day event, absolutely fantastic.
When we
fired off on all full cylinders.
Yeah, basically the cap at our previous events was like 600 people. We had 3,000 people for this one. It was a 1-day event. It was great. So everything went well. And gushing of awesomeness, and we were all exhausted and tired. And Mr. Hop was tired, and
beyond tired.
And I was at work, and people were blowing up the Facebook page.
Oh yeah,
and I'm looking at it, and somebody was complaining because we said that there was going to be free parking, and they got a parking ticket,
which we didn't promise that.
Well, we said that there was free parking available, and they parked in a spot that there was not free parking available.
This is true.
I mean, big surprise. So they were complaining that they got a parking ticket, and then that sparked every naysayer on the face of the planet, because we've had people that don't like us for many, many years, even before we started Kitchener Comic Con.
Which is weird.
Mr. Hop has a fan club that follow him around everywhere and have been for several years.
There's t-shirts, newsletters.
Well, there was almost a t-shirt.
There was a couple of Facebook pages. Those were fun.
There was the boycott RonCon thing. That was pretty funny.
God, that's like 7 years.
I wanted to sell a t-shirt of that, and you said no.
Well,
you said I wanted to. Like, side note, I wanted to start a t-shirt. One said support, like I don't know, like support RonCons or something, and then another one saying boycott RonCons, and then
wait a second. That was my idea. What I wanted was to have a pink one. And
you settled on the colors. I settled on the idea. I said, I'm like, let's monetize this. Why not?
And on top of that, all the money goes towards breast cancer research.
Exactly. We're going to do something like that.
Yeah. Hitman colors on one side, KCC colors on the other side. Would have been great.
Absolutely. Yeah, So basically, that's how it went down. So basically, what happened was, after this person said, I got a parking ticket because they said there was free parking and blah 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 blah. They're terrible, horrible people. Then all of these other people started jumping on, saying, "Wow, this is a horrible. This is terrible. Blah 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 blah. Look, Ron's a horrible person. Mr. Hop needs to burn. Mr. Hop needs to die. He just blah, 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 blah. All this other pants shitting nonsense that was going online." Ew. And so Mr. Hop, in his drunken stupor, right?
Wait a second. You're missing
morning drunk.
You're missing something.
No, I'm setting the tone, Mr. Hop.
All right.
He wakes up. He wakes up and rolls over in a half asleep drunken stupor.
Kind of what I'm doing right now, type of thing.
And he looks at the post, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And he says to himself, he's like, so he types out a response to this person that said, "You know what? We just put on the best event, and this fucking region is seen, blah 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 blah." Long story short, he's like, "I would tell you to eat a dick, but that would be unprofessional." And he says to me, after I see this entire shit blowing up, and I'm like, "Oh my god," because I'm at work, I can't do much about this at work, but I see this thing blowing up, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And so I call him on my break. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, I thought to myself, I really shouldn't post this as I was hitting enter, and I posted it.
I believe that was in the post too, just to add some more fun to things. Maybe I shouldn't post this.
Yeah, and you think you put that in there. So I probably shouldn't post this, but click. There you go.
Yeah, there it is. Because I thought it was funny.
And so people lost their goddamn mind because
my fuck, did they ever?
Mr. Hopman bad, so they went off the fucking deep end.
Absolute.
They went off the fucking deep end, saying he needs to be deleted off of the face of the planet and everything else like that. People were going insane. They were going insane. So I call Mr. Hop, and I'm like, "We need to solve this." And he's like, "I have no idea what the fuck to do." I'm like, "Don't say a fucking word for the next 3 days." I'm like, "We're gonna figure this out." And so so after work we go out for beers.
Yeah,
we sit down at our favorite pub, and we're like, "All right, what are we gonna do about this?" And I'm like, "Well, I can handle this for you, but people are gonna come after you, and they're gonna criticize and blah 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 blah." I'm like, "So the best way to do this, if I'm gonna be talking on your behalf, If you just hire me as like a manager, consultant, whatever, and then I can take over everything for you, and then boom, there you go.
Yeah, done.
And so he's like, but I don't have any money. I'm like, dude, just hire me for like a fucking $1. I don't care.
And of course, lucky for me, I had a toonie in my pocket.
Yeah. So he puts the $1 or $2 on the counter. We shake hands. There you go. I'm his media manager
Wait a second.
for the next.
It's not $1 or $2. It was $1.
It was like $1. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyhow,
double my salary.
there we go.
So we shake hands. I'm his media manager. I go on, and so we go to the police station.
Oh, that was fun
to see. Yeah, we went to the regional police station and said, hey, what the hell can we do about this? Because like there's a lot of people saying like a lot of defamatory shit, a lot of people making threats, a lot of people like just being insane on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And the officer looked at it and said, well, yeah, he's like, this is nasty stuff. He's like, but there's really not much you can do about it. He's like, you can't sue the internet. So he's like, the best thing you can do is just like post a cease and desist order. And if people continue going after it, then you can pick and choose who you want to go after type of thing. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So we go and I'm like, all right. So I spent like the next day or so. I went to the next day or so, like looking over form letters. Not even like we didn't even contact lawyers at that point. We went and looked at some foreign letters. I found a legal website that gave out free templates for cease and desist orders.
Yep.
Not orders, letters, I should say, because we can't issue an order because we're not a court, obviously. But in Ontario, in Canada at least, you can send anyone a cease and desist request, like a letter, and saying, hey, please don't do this. It's up to them if they want to follow it or not. There's really nothing legally binding about it. So we fill out the thing. I post it on Facebook on the big thread that keeps blowing up for like 3 days straight.
Yeah.
And then people start losing their fucking minds. And I think I sent it to like 1 or 2 other people that really, really were going off the deep end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There was people that were just losing their friggin' minds.
Because I said,
oh boy, doesn't it sound familiar?
Yeah. Like it was off the chart.
Because
I use the terminology, I am posting on behalf of my client, Mr. Hop, because he was my client. And people took that as me saying I'm a lawyer.
I remember people going through that too. Like basically posting online, checking out different websites, going, well, there's no Cressidia Holmes here as a lawyer. And
they lost their fucking rootin' tootin' minds over it. It was insane.
Laughing at this.
Yeah, we're laughing the entire time.
And we're not going to tell them any different.
No.
Why would we engage?
I mean,
something like that?
No, it's funny. So basically, I post that. I say in the big cease and desist letter thingy notification. I said that, hey, if you guys continue to do this, we're going to have to contact our legal team for further action or for further advice. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was pretty strongly worded because it was from a legal website. So obviously,
and on top of that,
and they're saying, well, they don't have a legal team. They don't have lawyers. They don't have this. Like, Cressidia is not a lawyer.
Little did they know.
Well, I mean, we were consulting a lawyer on it, but that's really not anybody's business.
Yep, exactly.
So basically, there's a bunch of people on the internet that were calling me, saying that I was misrepresenting myself as a lawyer and everything else like that. Okay.
Fuck them were those messages, and the messages I got going, you should fire Crumb.
Yeah,
it's like, I cannot talk to you for 3 days.
Exactly. I told Mr. Hop, if anyone contacts you about this shit or whatever else, blah blah blah, it's like, say that you have been instructed to not say a fucking word and to forward anything towards me.
And there was this one little fucking peanut head that did not understand that. I've never.
Well, yeah, there's one dude that lost his goddamn marbles over it.
It's like, he's making you look bad. You should fire Crumb. I cannot talk to you for 3 days. What? Why can't you talk to me? We're friends. I cannot communicate for 3 days. Copy, days.
Yeah,
You're an idiot. I can't talk to you for 3 days. I think you're an asshole. Can't talk to you for 3 days. I think your conventions suck. I can't talk to you for 3 days.
So it was pretty damn funny. It was pretty damn funny. So like, this thing like kind of died off after a little bit. I mean, I had this idiot who also ran a convention, by the way, in my DMs, actually threatening me with a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
He actually threatened me with a lawsuit, and I have receipts for that I've shown earlier.
Oh, yeah.
But so that I was accused of threatening people with fake lawsuits and threatening people into silence. I'm like, all right, well, here's the thing. I'm like, I've never said I was a lawyer, but in that stream recently, that was the crux of the criminal behavior. I know this is a really long way to get around to it, but this was the crux of the criminal behavior that I was behind. Is that I was threatening people with lawsuits left and right. I was telling people that I was a lawyer, apparently. Now, fun fact, all right, because our favorite bald moron.
Let's hear your favorite.
Our favorite bald non-person character went to the Ontario Bar Association. So he went to the Law Society of Ontario with a complaint saying that I was misrepresenting myself as a lawyer. And so I got the complaint letter from them saying they were going to investigate it. And it was like a 6-month investigation. I had a phone call with like actual lawyers about it, and which they laughed it off. They said, you know what?
It's still funny to this fucking
we can't tell you that this. They said we can't tell you to not worry about this, but like seriously, this is the smallest of potatoes. And it's like you basically have to go in front of a judge, go past the bar, go in front of a judge, and represent yourself in a courtroom as a lawyer without a license to be considered under this particular thing. And it's like, and he's like, the guy on the phone, whom I'm not going to name for his safety,
of course.
The guy on the phone said, you can't. He's like, this law is not designed to stop people from going to the bar and trying to pick up women and say, hey, I'm a lawyer. Like, it's like anyone can do that.
Stop. That is absolutely hilarious. We're not going to stop people to go to the bar and say, hey, I'm a lawyer. You see that?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So he literally is like, we can't stop people from claiming that they're a lawyer, if they're just trying to impress their friends or pick up a girl. He's like, what we can do is like persecute people who try to go into court and represent themselves as a lawyer in front of a judge. It's like, yes, those are two very different things. He's like, this is pretty much the smallest of potatoes. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm like, okay. So we got the letter back saying that there was no indication that the claims were without merit. And so I have that framed on my wall. That was hilarious. But yeah, I don't know, 6-7 years later, I don't know, people are still dragging this up, saying that I'm a criminal because I'm threatening lawsuits. And this is the funniest part. So this no name that was on the stream that was attacking my
cred,
besmirching my reputation,
your crumability,
my crumability, was saying that I was a criminal because I was silencing people's. I was a criminal because I was silencing people's free speech, and how dare I chill free speech because it's a First Amendment right and blah blah. It's like, hold on a second. Here's the first problem.
Back that short bus up.
Here's the first problem with that. I'm Canadian. I live in Canada.
Most of the people were Canadian, if not 95.
Everybody in that situation was Canadian.
Yep.
And the only situation that I had talked to someone who would remotely even be close to that situation was Nerd and Ty, not Ty Beard, the idiot known as Nerd and Ty, who writes really stupid things all the time about people and actually gets himself into lawsuits over it, over defamation. And it's documented. It's not a lie. So it's there. Y'all can go see it. Come at me, Nerd and Ty, by the way. Chill my free speech, asshole. And,
Ding ding.
Ding, ding. So this man, because they were showing my in this like back and forth DM thing, they were showing the email that I had, the email exchange I had between Nerd and Ty when I tried to correct him on the misinformation he was publishing in his articles. And he kept trying to turn around saying, like, this sounds like a threat. Are you threatening me with a lawsuit? I'm like, hold on a second. I'm like, you're publishing stuff that is defamatory. I'm like, you're publishing stuff that's defamatory. I'm just letting you know it's defamatory because people could take that the wrong way. And you could end up in another lawsuit, by the way.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm going to put a lawsuit against you because that's stupid, because you're in America. I'm in Canada. And nobody in Canada is listening to you anyways.
How's your soapbox now?
Yeah, just a healthy bit of advice before you go around and start calling people convicted criminals. Maybe you shouldn't do that.
just saying.
There's a free piece of fucking PR advice for you.
Oh my god! Do you want to hear my funny
criminal behavior? That was my criminal behavior.
And you want to hear the other funny part behind all this?
Go for
because that little nugget didn't do any, research into this at all. The person who I had an issue with and who had an issue with me, we resolved our differences within 4 months, if not 2 months.
Oh yeah,
of things happening. Like the issue has been resolved. We both went, all right.
Yeah, the person that he directed to eat a dick or suggested to, as Mr. Huff likes to say,
suggested
was like totally fine with. Like, she didn't even care about the situation, and found out several years after the fact that our bald idiot friend who just won't leave us alone has been using her story for 7 years.
Yep,
and this entire time she thought that bald moron was Mr. Hop.
And of course,
until that got corrected,
that little nugget knows none of this. And of course, I watched the repeat show afterwards, and he's getting madder and madder and madder. And it's like, oh my god, bud, you have no idea the full story behind this. But however, he's bringing that paint can up the ladder to defend someone's honor in the hopes to annihilate the individuals.
Because there was people that were saying like what Mr. Hop said equated to sexual assault. I'm not even kidding.
That's the best part.
And he sexually assaulted a minor because he told them, because he said on the internet, I would tell you to eat a dick, but that would be rude.
I would suggest.
Yes.
Yes.
Phantom rape. This just so you guys know, this happened several years before any of the Vic stuff. This happened several years before any of the major cancel culture stuff. This is what got us into the anti-cancel culture shit. And so there you go. You can thank these social justice lunatics.
And they're still going at it.
They're still going at it. You can thank them for our involvement in helping Vic out.
Oh my god. Yeah, as you mentioned before with Vic, our main catalyst when we saw what Vic was going through, we're going, this is not fair. This is not right. Well, if they hated us before,
yeah, they're gonna hate us for fucking ever.
And just think, we're just getting started. As the #1 comic book convention of all of Southern Ontario
for 2020.
For 20.
I don't care. I'll polish that fucking belt all day.
Oh god. Oh my
hello world. Hello Nicholas Smith. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hello everybody in chat. Toyman99X. Welcome.
My god.
As Vegeta says, how does it feel? How does it feel to be so weak? Mere words hurt you. Exactly. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Oh my god. All of these people who get massively obsessed over things, you need to learn the secret kung fu technique of just to breathe.
And Mike Walters is asking, is the bald idiot you're talking about T. Greg or douchebag Michael Avenatti clone?
Oh
no, this predates This man is the fucking subject zero of the bald idiots.
He's
Like
the monkey.
if you put this bald moron next to Greg Doucette, you would not be able to tell a difference because the sheer black hole they create.
And the funny thing is that Meathead decided to link hands with everyone from Kick Vic. I'm going, are we really that Christmas list special that we occupy his every thoughts?
we have found the archetype indeed.
Like to be honest with you, I feel bad because I keep forgetting what you get someone on their 6th or 7th anniversary. Is it the gold or wooden? What's this?
I know. Randy Scribner Jr. I said it right that time, I think. Ooh. I guess you had great timing on the 2020 thing. Yes.
Oh, and it hasn't even finished yet.
Yes. And Nicholas is asking, so what's up with the alleged Toye drama about alleged tweets breaking confidentiality? It's pretty much a nothing burger. From what I understand, it just means that like Toye breached confidence of what was said between him and Monica and the whatchamacallit, the mediator, and potentially the rest of the defendants with the mediator. By talking about terms of the mediation, which just means for non-legal people out there, all it means is that could potentially open up, if it comes back to court, for Ty to depose, for Ty to depose the mediator about conversations that were previously held in confidence that Toye has now waived confidence to. Mm-hmm. So that's all that means. It doesn't really mean much of anything. He's not going to jail over it. He's just an idiot. So he could potentially be giving up a lot of information about what they talked to. So, like, for example, this is non-canon, by the way. This is just fiction. So if for example Monica and Toye said, haha, this entire thing was just a ruse, fuck you, Vic, you know, we're totally gonna fucking win on this TCPA and there's nothing you could do about it, we lied the whole time, and he said that in the mediation, that would be held in confidence and that would not be able to be used in court. Yep. However, because he broke the confidence of the mediator, if that was said, now Ty can put the mediator on the stand and depose him and say, hey, what did Toye say about this, or is this correct? So
that opens up a whole can of worms. Poor little soy toy man. Oh.
So if the appeals go through, and it goes back to court, then that could open up an entire can of whoop ass, and I'm sure that based on their demeanor, they probably said a couple things that they'd regret if it got dragged into court. So.
Oh fuck! Heaven forbids. When we had Toye on the show here, there's a lot of things that little man that's gonna fucking regret if it comes back to court. Like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, I can't remember. I can't recall. Well, we have the videotape here. I don't think that's me. You were there for 5 hours for one episode.
It was just robot Toye. That's all it was.
Oh my god.
It was just Rob Toye.
And also on top of that, when it comes down to it, that guy has proven with a shadow of doubt you can't trust him.
So there are two douchebag Michael Avenatti. There are multiple. Yeah, someone mentioned Stevel as well earlier. It's not Stevel. It's another bald idiot, if you can believe it.
Oh my god, they've run packs after.
They've multiplied.
Their power combined, a giant meat hitter sandwich. Sweets. Yeah. Well, I'm surprised that your law degree didn't come up through all of this. You know,
exactly. Like, the whole time I was just making fun of it because I called after people were calling me, saying that I was a fake attorney and all this stuff. I literally just started saying, like, you know, I graduated law school, LAWL. I'm an attorney at LOL.
Yeah.
LOL.
Hours and hours of fun. I wonder who's going to be the next contender to step up from all of this.
I don't know. It's just like it's so funny that these individuals have tried so much to try and throw shade or try and discredit myself or you or our convention, and all they can do is just pull up shit that has already been proven false time and time and time and time and time again.
There's a bit more proven false and been resolved.
Yes.
Like it'd be one thing if that person was still upset and still going through with things and stuff like that, but it was resolved, like done, over with.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that what a lot of people like to do is just kind of grab their favorite pink eraser and just erase the date and go, oh, look what I found.
Yeah.
Isn't this absolutely horrible? Person clutches their pearls like, oh my goodness gracious.
They just grab their bottom lip and pull it over their head as their party
And then,
trick.
yeah, I was gonna say, and my favorite magic trick, make their head disappear. Boom.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, Mike Walters is saying, I didn't know Michael Epinemi was an asexual reproducer. It's seeming that way. I mean, it's just like,
oh, it's seeming that way.
yeah.
That's
Well,
that's cute.
considering that they are basically walking fucking semen at this point.
Oh, good lord. Yeah.
No, honest to God, like that whole crop of people. What was hilarious though, and I know that people were criticizing and like laughing and critical about the left going after Punisher. Okay, Mr. Hop, you might not want to drink when I talk about this. So our favorite bald idiot, had literally been so. Aside from calling himself the sheepdog as well, I'm not even kidding.
I know.
Before Rontoya called himself the sheepdog.
The similarities between all those fucking people.
So he called himself the sheepdog, and he was like wearing Predator, his Predator patch, and not Predator, Punisher. He had his Punisher patch, had Punisher on the top of his timeline. Literally the banner of his Twitter for like 6 months when he was coming after us in our convention was the Punisher logo and saying, "In time, you will be no more." This man lived and breathed. He considered himself to be Frank Castle.
And the similarities that meathead posts. Oh my God. It has been 20 years since I was lied to.
Exactly.
I stand on the street corner, cry to myself.
Exactly. This man was like emulating Frank Castle for like 6 years.
And he goes on Twitter all the time. He goes, War Day Punisher update.
Exactly. Like he acts like the Punisher day in, day out for 6 years until the day it was no longer acceptable to. So I swear to God, okay, there was an article about some police officer in Toronto that wore a fucking Punisher patch. That he wore a Punisher patch that said on it, "Make no mistake, I am the sheepdog." Okay,
that's even funny.
The extreme left found out about this, and they shat so hard it hit Mars. They lost their fucking mind about it, and they wanted him fired. They wanted blah blah blah, and people were losing their mind. And so, like, the police department had to come out and say, like, we've identified the officer, we've informed him he can't wear the patch, blah 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 blah. People were losing their fucking minds about it. Guess who retweets about this police officer getting disciplined and how terrible it is and blah blah blah, and literally went and systematically removed every single piece of Punisher finalia he's ever had on his Twitter or anything else. I'm pretty sure he had a fucking bonfire in his backyard. He like ripped off his fucking Punisher tattoo and threw it into it. Like, this fucking idiot? Was this fucking meathead? That
right?
You can go to his Twitter right now, which I'm not going to say because don't go to his Twitter. I'm just saying hypothetically hyperbole. You could go to his Twitter right now and you would not find a single thing about Punisher on his Twitter. After he was milking that, after he was LARPing Frank Castle for 6 fucking years. This is how these people exist, man.
Oh,
this is the fucking
and the thing is that they don't let go.
No,
they don't. And it's like, look, there might be the possibility you're wrong. I am never wrong.
Oh yeah,
I am always right. Yes,
we saw that fucking play out in that one stream where it's just like getting more and more and more angry because he was being proven incorrectly. And I'm going to go on record. Okay.
His buddies were going, hey, you okay? I'm fine.
I'm going to go on record here.
Yeah.
And put this out there. Vegan Gains.
Okay.
If this ever gets out to Vegan Gains, I want to say first and foremost, I apologize if we offended you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do. I apologize that you really, and I do feel bad that you wanted to come to our event in Kitchener Comic-Con and these idiots ruined it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because so let me get this straight. The second half of what this other nobody was upset with was that we went to the police about vegan gains. So here's the story. Here's the story behind this. Okay, there's a person out there on the interwebs called that goes by Vegan Gains. I don't know the guy's real name. I don't know anything about him. He makes edgy videos. I mean, more power to him. He's a persona.
Yeah.
That's a persona that he puts out there, first and foremost. I don't think for a second that he goes out and literally beats the skull out of children. You know, I don't think that he does that. I'm not that stupid. However, we had several individuals, from both the I Stand with Vic side and the Kick Vic side, telling us that we shouldn't have this individual at our convention because X, Y, and Z. So we're like, all right, at this point, we can't take a chance because we have to be responsible. We saw some of his content; it was questionable. So we went to and apparently he lives like 20 minutes from us.
Oh.
Like he lives in the region.
Yeah.
So we couldn't risk
Wait,
not doing anything about it.
That's like Mexico, isn't it?
It's like right down the street.
Okay. I was trying to make a joke.
So we couldn't take any chances. We went to the regional police. Well, Mr. Hop did. And basically said
3:00 in the fucking morning after my surgeries, you know, with my walker.
So he goes to the police department and says, "Hey, we've gotten complaints about this dude. We don't think that there's anything wrong with him. Like, we think that he's fine. He's made some questionable things online. Can you guys just give him a call and make sure he's okay?
Yep,
and just let him know. And here's some print. Here's some whatever else." And the police looked at it and they're like, "Okay."
Yep,
that was it. And we didn't get a follow-up. We didn't ask for a follow-up. We didn't do anything. Everything went off perfectly fine. So Vegan Gains, if you're out there, if you ever see this, I apologize if we caused you any strife, because we did not. We would have been happy to have you at the convention. I don't think that you're a bad dude. I think that your persona is a bit over the top, sure, but nothing personal from our side of things here. Just a bunch of morons on the internet that decided that they had a problem with you being at Kitchener Comic-Con, and I'm sad that you chose not to come because of that, but I understand.
And on top of that, we have to do our due diligence and we have to put that stuff forward, because if anything ever would have happened, you know, that'd be bad. So hey,
exactly. So we have to make sure we're. And that wasn't like the only thing. We had someone threaten to do something really terrible to a kid, and we had that investigated too. Like, we had a lot of stuff happen.
Stupid
we didn't publicize because obviously we don't want to give these idiots screen time. So
exactly, no airtime for them. No soup for 2 weeks.
Exactly. So it wasn't just you. It wasn't just whatever. It's stuff that you have to do as a convention.
Yep, it was a lot, and
since a lot more than usual.
Yep, and since we had a lot of eyeballs on us and stuff like that, if something would have happened with all the different complaints that we had, people would be backlashing at us kind of quickly. So, yeah, I think
exactly.
I believe that that Nuggethead was basically surprised we went to the police. It's like, well, we had to.
Like, well, that's the thing, is that some people don't understand. It's like, if someone brings up something with actual substance and actual evidence to substantiate their claim.
Yep.
Which, news flash, none of that has happened with Vic, by the way.
Yeah. Odd that.
Because the biggest criticism I had was that we called the police on Vegan Gains, but we didn't call the police on Vic Mignogna. It's like, well,
why would we call the police on Vic? What did Vic say in jest,
considering that like a dozen people already did so?
Our event, to the point that we'd have to take steps like that. Let me help you with that answer. There wasn't anything.
Yeah, there was nothing.
It's like, my God.
And I mean, aside from the fact that if he could not cross the Canadian border because he had some sort of criminal record,
Yep.
that would have been a bang zoom. He's done. Like
Exactly.
that didn't happen unless we had control over border control twice.
And on top of that, we also had our finger on the red cancellation button, because if anything would have popped up, that would it. Done. Cancellation.
Exactly.
See, it's been fun. It's been fun, Miranda. Have a nice fucking day. Bye-bye.
Exactly.
Did that happen? No. What has been going on about? Oh, I just want to tell everyone I love them and that they're great, the best fans that one guys actually ever have. Like, it's going on and on about this goodness. Oh my god!
Yeah. The only thing
every time I watch is
the only thing he's guilty of is giving people diabetes.
Yeah, exactly. That diabetes of the mind's eye. Like, my good lord. Like, Vic, buddy, it's me. How you doing? Be cool.
Exactly. And like everybody loves Gab says, I saw an interview with Vic released yesterday. He looked tired. Within a minute, he talked about how people were complaining about the COVID joke he made. Usually he wouldn't do that. He looked pissed off. I would say this is 2 straight years of Vic. Like, if he pissed in a fucking bush, people would make it fucking headline news.
Oh god.
Like, this is honestly draining. It would be mentally draining. It was mentally draining for us to deal with shit for like a week. I can't imagine what it's like to deal for like every fucking day for 2 years.
Well, as I was telling some of our sponsors, when it really comes down to it, superstars such as Vic have 2 sets of fans. They got the fans who really love them and the fans that really love them the other direction. And people are very excited about everything else like that. And that's just the cost of success.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Jesus, because the thing is that people get jelly really quick over the stupidest of things. Like,
fuck. People get really mad over being successful.
Look at Meathead.
Yeah,
he's been trying to push us down, especially me. And it's like, no.
Well, he's the microcosm for these individuals, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Like, his track record, because he hasn't. It's not the first time he's done it with us, right?
That's the crazy part. A lot of these fucking people just go, "Oh, this is the first time you're doing stuff like that." Fucking Meat has a huge track record of this shit.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like I was just about to say, he has a track record of it. He goes after anything that is basically more successful than a small show. He doesn't like, big events. He doesn't like big corporate. He doesn't like any of that stuff. So it's the same thing when you look at the mindset of all of these morons out here that are attacking Vic. Microcosm, tickle my tombstone. It's like a small sample size, of a bigger thing that's similar. So like when you look at our favorite bald idiot. He acts exactly like the same as these other pre-programmed NPCs, where they attack and destroy anything that's bigger than a certain amount. Yep. Because it's like, well, I liked this when it was small and I was the big fish in the small pond. Now it's gotten bigger than me and I'm not the center of attention anymore. So now I have to tear it down.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what it comes with.
Yeah,
and it's like, and when things get big, things get successful. And some people get left behind because they either don't rise to the occasion or they can't. They get resentful of it.
Pretty much.
That's what happens. Yep. And like Gippy is saying, hello, Gippy, by the way.
Hey,
yep, I've worked with convention staff that became jealous of what I did. People get envy and resentment. Absolutely.
Yep.
And everybody loves Gav saying, life has shown me that negative people attract other negative people. Absolutely agree.
Positivity attracts positivity.
So, I mean, when you look at things, look at who's successful, and look at the things that the person has been in, and if every fucking project that person has touched has been has turned to gold or has been successful, then there you go. Hello, Action Toys, just getting here. YouTube didn't send you a notification. Dang it, YouTube! Be sure. I'll just take this as a moment. Be sure to hit the like, the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, do all the fun stuff.
Don't forget to share this video
and share it around.
Don't forget to share this video, chat. It is absolutely beautiful. Other times we have together, and those beautiful times should be shared with other beautiful people.
It's true. And just as Tom is saying here, the whole thing with Vic was born out of his coworkers' abject jealousy of his success and rapport with his fans. It's that simple. I agree I mean, a lot. If you look at a lot of the stuff that was going on, Vic was successful, and he introduced other things to make things more successful for everybody else. Like he introduced signing autographs for money, right? Like you'd get an appearance fee, and then you could make more money by charging 5, 10, 15, 20, 60, $200 for an autograph. And that was a thing that was unheard of, but people did it. And Vic had massive success, and other people started having success and making money off of that model. Now, here's the thing: if Vic's lineup is 2 hours long, right, and somebody wants an autograph from Vic, but they don't want to wait 2 hours. Oh, I'm gonna go to Jamie Markey, or I'm gonna go to Chris Sabat, or I'm gonna go to Sean Schemmel. I'm gonna get their autograph because they don't have lineups. If Vic's not there, and the people are there for Vic to get his autograph, guess what also is not going to be there if he's not there? His spillover fans.
Pretty much.
So you're getting money off of the spillover from his fans. Just shut up and take it. Like, I get that you have an ego and you think that you're bigger than him because you've been in every episode of Dragon Ball. Here's the thing. People don't care about you. I'm sorry, Sabat. People didn't like your fucking Goku Black. People didn't like your voicing for, I don't know if that was Sabat or Schemmel, but either way, they don't like your fucking voice work. And deal with it.
That the biggest thing that a lot of people are honestly forgetting, besides this is not a gush on Vic moment, but the man is horribly talented through in and throughout. And when he's at a convention, he's really with the fans. He honestly is. He's there hugging them. He's there asking them how their day is. He's basically really getting engaged with that. And the thing is, out of the how many years has it been? 17 years me running this. A lot of people don't engage with the fans in that level. They're there. They sit in a little fucking cattle stall signing things, and they want to go to the bathroom and get lost for half an hour and then come back and then complete their contract obligations and go home. Vic gets engaged, and that's one of the reasons why that people really like seeing Vic. Plus, on top of that, let's do a quick comparison. So, when's the last time that Vic pointed his finger at someone and said, "That's a bad person. You shouldn't be with them"? I believe the answer is far few and in between. And if everyone at Funimation just worked together, gotta be astronomical. And the thing is that, again, with this whole Vic thing that's going on, I'm an avid animation fan. I like watching cartoons. It's my favorite medium to tell stories through. But a lot of my favorite animated productions have completely soured with the individuals working behind the scenes in them. And it's like,
well, you look at a lot of this stuff, and it's like, you don't know the voice actor behind the voice usually, and you get this idea you get this image of them in their head. And like, funny enough, because I've been playing through Final Fantasy X recently, and just playing through Final Fantasy X too, and the voice actor for Waka, who also voices Kamari from those games, but he also voices Jake the dog from Adventure Time. He voices Bender. And from what I understand, from what people were telling me, because the people that have met him, he's a really sweet guy. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
But funny enough, he has a line in 10-2 where Waka's talking about his parents and like how you're going to find a spear and all this other stuff. He's talking about how his brother and him got in a fight when they were young, and his brother said, "Oh, I found a spear of our parents, but I'm not going to tell you where it is." And then he went to go find the spear, and then he kind of stopped, and he was like sitting in the cave, thinking about what to do. He's like, "Yeah, when you guys came and found me," he's like, I was all ready to go and find that spear of my parents." He's like, "But," he's like, "I got to thinking," he's like, "I already have this image of my parents in my head, like they're strong and they're kind, and it's like, what if I find that spear and they're just not what they are?" And it's like, I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I could take that. That's very similar to like VAs, right? You have this image in your mind about how a specific character that someone voices, or like how that person would be based on their character.
Oh yeah.
But you meet them and they're completely different. Like Toyman was saying, it's like you meet them and you realize they aren't like the person and that just ruins your experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
John DiMaggio is the guy I'm talking about. He's a really, really talented dude. Apparently, because I've known people that have actually like gotten autographs with him, met him. Apparently, he's a really nice guy.
That's
So,
cool. That's really cool.
but that's the same sort of thing. It's like you don't know these people, right? And if it wasn't for this whole debacle, I wouldn't have found out about all of these voice actors being complete snakes and hating the fans.
Yeah, it's really the unfortunately dark side of live theater. Like, again, a lot of talent are jealous of each other because they want more stage time. They want to be in the public more. They want to do this more. They want to do that more. Instead of just focusing on what they have, they just quietly stab each other in the back with at every opportunity, and it's, excuse me, very unfortunate.
For like what? For what shekel are you going to stab someone else in the back for? Like
It's so sometimes it's to get certain roles, certain positions.
Yeah.
Like when a understudy is basically being an understudy, and they want to have their higher ups position, they will fucking be super bitter towards them and try to get them pushed out. It's just horrible, and it's just it's really sad that came to the forefront of a lot of stuff.
Our very own Amanda T is in the chat. Hello, Amanda. How you doing?
Amanda, hello.
And Paralegal X says John's very nice. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I thank you for joining us, Paralegal X. Thank you for confirming that as well. John DiMaggio is one person who I would absolutely fucking love to get for Kitchener Comic Con. James B is saying maybe we could get him for 2021. Yeah, he's done so many voices. Like he did Waka. I didn't realize he did Kamari until I saw the credits, but he did Waka and Kamari. He's done Bender. He's done Jake the dog, all sorts of stuff. It was. He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah, it'd be interesting
from what I understand. So.
Would be.
Well, I mean, if we can get the funding for it, then hey, sky's the limit, right? So
yeah, well, that's true.
Amanda T says, I found out my sister's gonna have a baby girl.
Oh,
let's go! Congratulations!
Amazing!
Congratulations!
Happy.
And yes, Tom P is saying Vic saying something about participating in a Mandalorian fan film. Apparently, he is going to be playing the Mandalorian in a fan-made film.
Oh wow!
So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Well, one interesting thing that I heard, rumor mill, and let's take this for what you will, is that the lead actor for the Mandalorian, the guy that plays Mando right now, is wanting out of the project because he's not getting enough FaceTime.
First off, that's funny. Second, I actually heard that he's quit.
Yeah.
The
so hey, who knows?
Production halfway through.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe if this fan film for the Mandalorian goes well, maybe Vic will get a tap on the shoulder.
It might be the way.
This is the way. We're gonna get more into the Mandalorian a little bit later in the stream.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. And Ragnarok Knight says, I actually met Monica Rial at Anime Central back in 2016. She seemed really nice. She was the only other person that recognized her cosplay, so seeing her true self is just heartbreaking. That is terrible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Monica.
Yeah. And Paralegal says it would be great if we could get John. I agree too. Like, I honestly would love to have him. Apparently, he's really, really good with fans. That's who we want for Kitchener Comic Con. We want people who want to be there for their fans.
Yep, exactly.
And all that stuff.
That's a quintessential core of everything. And hopefully, they understand cancel culture just a little bit.
Well, I'm sure at this point most of these people do.
Yeah,
and I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think we've done enough to show that we can rise above that nonsense.
Well, the things that we've done in such a short period of time is truly astronomical, and it's like, wow, just incredible, just incredible. Yeah. So, anyways,
well, we have another topic to dive into.
We do. My goodness gracious, is this a spicy one?
To dive into. This is a spicy one.
Awesome.
So this is going to tie into the Mandalorian in just a little bit. So stick around, because we're going to be talking about all of this like nonsense and misconceptions about trans people, and all the misconceptions and nonsense that trans people are putting out there as well.
Small thing. I have to disappear for a second or two. So,
oh God, here we go.
Yeah. So basically, I'll be back momentarily.
All right. So what we're going to be talking about here, basically, this was sparked from a conversation with Drexel, and then it also expanded from there because of the whole shit that's going down with the Mandalorian recently. 1 second, I'm going to read some of your chats while we wait for Mr. Hop to get back here. Second, the recommendation for Steve Bloom. That'd be pretty cool. Tom P says, working on an impersonation of the Saw Killer, trying to impersonate Paul Free's voice of Carr right now. Very cool. And Amanda T says, I think people tend to forget that celebrities at the end of the day are just human beings. That is a big part of it. Celebrities are just people at the end of the day. And here's the funny part, right? Like, I mean, I reach out to people all the time. I reach out to celebrities and whatever people and the like. And some people are like, well, how could you reach out to that person, or how could you do that? It's like, well, they're just people. They're not really anything different. It's just people at the end of the day. Maybe you could get Todd Habercorn. Vic could get Todd Habercorn to play Baby Yoda. That's funny. This has to be known. Educate. Yes. So we're going to be talking about trans people, because if you didn't know already by this point, I am a trans female, and I don't really like to make it a big deal, but some people do, and that's always fun. But I had a conversation with Drexel. I'm just going to reiterate what we talked about at the opening of the show here. Was that Drexel got a little bit upset about something, and he wanted to get my opinion about it, because there was a court case. I think it was either in the Philippines or South America, something that's overseas, where a man got convicted. He was like a Navy officer, like a Marine, I think, got convicted of murder of a trans person because he picked up a trans girl at a bar and found out that she was trans, and then promptly decided to beat the living Christ out of her and leave her for dead in a hotel room. And he got convicted of murder and recently got overturned on appeal. And so Drexel was upset because this trans person didn't disclose that they were trans and that they were trapping this man or what have you, and that trans people need to learn that they need to tell people and disclose right off the top, blah, 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 blah.
They need to learn. That's an interesting phrase.
Yeah, so it's like, and so I talk with him, and again, this is not a knock on Drexel.
No,
because
no.
Like I'm not. It was Indonesia. Yeah, Toyman says it's Indonesia.
Yeah.
So this is not a knock on Drexel. This is not a slight on Drexel. I'm not throwing shade at him. I'm not mad at him.
Yeah.
This is a common misconception. This is a common misconception that trans people don't disclose, which we do. I mean, I do. Whenever I'm in a dating situation, that's the first thing I say to people. It's like, hey, if this is going to go a certain situation, just so you know, this is what it is. I mean, it's not exactly hard to tell for some individuals. Like, I mean, my pictures, most people would assume that I'm a woman in my pictures, right? But the second that you hear me talk, there's a question mark behind that because the voice doesn't necessarily match the picture. So when you're at a bar, I can't understand how you could not tell the person you're talking to might be like transgender or what have you, unless they're really, 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 really good at, masking it, which, I mean, if they are, power to them. But the point is that it's not, at that point, is murdering somebody an acceptable response?
Well, that's the funny part, Crumb. And the thing is, I mentioned this before. A fucking toilet was used. Come on. Like, fuck.
Yeah. No, apparently she was drowned in the toilet.
Yeah. Like okay. Not to be all morbid, there's a difference getting your head crushed, combat, but being drowned in a fucking toilet. Like, there's something seriously wrong with that individual to go to that extreme. Like, there is fights of passion and stuff like that. We talked about this numerous times in different conversations, but drowning someone in a fucking puddle, more or less, Like that takes a
Yeah.
whole bunch of extra special behind that. And the thing is that at that stage of the game, from my most humble opinion, that person needed to take responsibility for the action that they took. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
okay, look, you went to a bar, you picked someone up, surprise package. Okay, cool. Fuck. Damn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you went through the steps. No one pointed a gun at your fucking head and said, "Oh, by the way, you're gonna slip your dick in their ass." There you go. Like,
And
no.
Nicholas Smith has a question. As a Marine myself, his behavior is an excusable question. How drunk was he? I would say probably pretty drunk.
Oh yeah.
I'd probably say pretty drunk.
And the thing is, again, when it comes down to our people in the military, they have special training. They have the way to discipline themselves, so forth, and etc. Like these are not normal folks from society. You know what I mean? Like they're specially fucking trained, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
And Tom P says a few years ago, a trans person was shot and killed in a motel room. I'm guessing it was for the same reason you're alluding to now. Like this is so strange, right? Like I don't understand why it's considered acceptable. Because I mean,
It's
apparently
not.
no, hold on. Here,
Yeah.
apparently in Indonesia, it was overturned as a decision to convict this man of murder because of some reason. I didn't look into the article. I didn't read it. So,
Yeah.
but I just know that it was overturned. But apparently, it's considered acceptable under the terms that the person didn't disclose which gender they were. Why is that a life-threatening situation for people that they feel they have to kill the person to avoid it?
I don't know, bud.
Like for me, like because I had this conversation with Drexel, and I'm like, well, hold on a second here. I'm like, as a trans person, we are criticized every single fucking day on the media, online, by people on the right, what have you, for quote unquote just being a snowflake or making our gender identities our only thing of our personality and blah blah blah, putting that forefront of everything. It's because years of this has been going on. Trans people have been killed like a lot of the time in a fucking hotel room, in a motel room, meeting somebody for the first time, what have you, because like people can't come to fucking terms that either they could potentially have some sort of affinity for someone with the same parts as them. And it's not done. So like let me just clarify this really quickly here.
Yeah, of course.
I don't like when I go out to date people or I look into people. So number one thing before I even get into this, when you are trans, your sexual preferences do not change. Shocker, I know. If you like men before you transition, you're not magically going to like women when you transition. You're going to still like men. If you like women before you transition, you're going to still like women. If you like everybody before you transition, you're still going to like everybody. Your sexual preference does not change when you transition. Big surprise. Because you're changing the parts that you have. Some things may change, like your sex drive. Like for male to female trans, a lot more male to female trans end up being asexual because the sex drive from lowering your testosterone down to basically nothing and eventually getting the parts changed and you replace that with estrogen, you're not as sexually motivated. You don't have as much of a sex drive when you transition. Alternatively, the opposite is true. When you're a female to male trans, because you have the testosterone, you have more of a libido. That's just the way it goes. But that does not mean all of a sudden it's like if a trans woman is transitioning that if she liked women before she transitioned, she's not going to like be lusting for penis after that. That's not how that works. And it's not the fact of that you're a gay man that you're transitioning so you can get men, because if you're a gay man, you don't want men that want cis women.
It's complicated, right? Isn't it?
Like if you're a gay man, you want another gay man. You want someone who likes, who number one has a penis and number one likes penis. Or that's what you want. Yeah, you want an archetype of a person. You want a gay man. if you transition and you're a gay man or what have you, or you like men and then you transition to a woman, you don't want a gay man, right? So you don't want to turn men gay. You're changing the parts downstairs. You want people who want women because you yourself identify as a woman because you are a woman. You're not doing it to be like, aha, now you're gay. No, it's not the whole fucking purpose of it.
Sorry, hold on. Let's just take a second and drink that in.
Like, imagine that, right?
Could you imagine the conversation ahead of time? do you like sports? Yes.
Right?
Okay.
No, it's just like I don't know where people get this fucking thing in their mind, where it's just like this person walking around in a fucking trench coat, and it's like, all right, like, you want to go out with me? Yes, yes, I want to go out with you. And they rip open the fucking trench coat. It's a fucking rainbow flag. It's like, haha, now you're gay.
Oh.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work
wait a
that
second.
way.
Are you sure?
Yes. Yes.
Do you have receipts?
Like, I had this conversation with a gay friend a long time ago where he was fucking tired of straight men being afraid or being awkward around him. Because he's like, I don't want a straight man. He's like, I want a gay man. And just because you have a penis doesn't mean I'm automatically attracted to you. Like,
no,
that's the other thing too. It's like a lot of like straight people think it's like, well, if this person's gay or this person's a lesbian, they're gonna hit on me because I have the parts that they like. No, you think that someone's gonna hit? Like, do you think that someone's gonna hit
crime gun? Jesus
like,
Christ.
do you think that someone's gonna hit on a fucking ham planet because they have a vagina? No. It's not gonna happen. It's not going to happen.
Oh,
you have to be attractive to that person. I mean, if they like large people, then sure.
Step, isn't there?
But again, if you transition, you're not automatically going to be attracted to like fat people or skinny people or people with chest hair or people with big asses. Your preferences stay the same. Like, Jesus Christ. And people misunderstand.
Oh gosh.
People misunderstand transphobia. They misunderstand what the word means. It doesn't, like, as a textbook definition, phobia means that you're irrationally afraid of something. Yes. Okay. Transphobia, and understand this from a mental perspective. Like, I wish Ken was on to talk about this too. But from a therapy, like a mentalist perspective here, fear manifests in different ways, right? Mm-hmm. For women, it manifests in a flight response. Like, they run away from it, they avoid it, they tend to not talk about it, blah, blah, blah. For men, fear can manifest as aggression. Mm-hmm. Big surprise. What are we seeing when these men get their dates back to the hotel or motel room and they find out, oh, wow, there's a Tootsie Roll in there.
It's Christmas time. There's a unknown secret package.
Yeah, there's a Tootsie Roll in this pile here. Like, no, when that happens, what happens? They act out in aggression, right? They attack. They shoot them. They drown them in a fucking toilet. They attack them. Like, this is how it manifests. This is what people are talking about transphobia. It's not that men are afraid or people are afraid of trans people. It's that they act irrationally towards them. Most trans individuals don't fucking care. Is that what's happened to Toye? I mean, who knows? I've never been in Monica's pants, so I don't
know. First, you. Second, goodness gracious.
Right. And Paralegal X, serious question. Is the term transgender used from the beginning when you realize through transition, and once someone's transitioned, can't you just be that gender? Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Some people still wear the term transgender as a point of pride. However, if you've made the transition and you were female and you transitioned to male, you have the parts and they're all doing their thing, you could be considered male. The same thing with women. They'd be considered female. There you go. You don't have to have the trans part of it. Mostly transgender is to denote that I am this thing either physically or whatever, and I am making the transition or not. Some people don't ever make the transition, but they can still be transgender. But that is exactly true, Paralegal X. If you make the transition and you have everything, I could go right now, for example, because I'm on hormone replacement therapy. I'm doing all that fun stuff. I could go and get my doctor to write a definition or a note, go to my government and have them print my ID where I'm identified as female. I can do that. That doesn't mean that I could identify myself as female right now. It's just some people use the term transgender to let people know, hey, I might not have the parts that you're looking for. Because those individuals that don't really care are called pansexuals. Not gay, not lesbian. They're called pansexuals, which means you don't care what parts they have, you just care about the person. That's why these gender definitions and sexual identity, sexual preference identity, whatever, are important. I know people make fun of them. I know people like say, well, there's too many definitions, blah, blah, blah. The ones you need to understand: straight, gay, lesbian, pansexual. Really all the ones that matter. That's it. You can throw in bisexual with the pansexuals as well if you want to. But fact of the matter is, those are the definitions that really are the only ones that matter.
Yeah, pretty much.
And when you talk about other stuff, it's really getting into the weeds. But when you're talking to people, and 99% of people that are part of a transgender spectrum will disclose to the person, hey, I have this part, or I'm missing these parts. If they're going into a situation where they're going to be intimate with that individual.
Yeah.
Right. That's clearly established beforehand. Years and years and years ago, it wasn't really a thing because it would get you killed on the spot. Right? Like 20 years ago, you'd get beaten in the street and people would applaud it. Now it's not as accepted. So there's a reason as to why many years ago people hid that fact until they were in a motel or a hotel. But here's the thing. Guys out there, some girls out there, you need to hear this. Acting in violence. Like, I am pretty sure this Marine was not strapped to the fucking bed and this trans woman took her fucking pants off and surprised him. And he had to like fucking somehow like bite his, chew his way through the fucking, he had to chew his way through the fucking leathers to get out and drown her in a toilet in self-defense.
I want to play a game.
What the hell is going on?
The person in front of you has the keys to success for ongoing life. I want to play a game.
There it is.
So
my
that's pretty much where this stuff is getting. So it's like, yes, nowadays people don't hide that fact because it's more acceptable now. And James B says, as accepted. Yeah, I hope trans people don't need to live in fear like this as generations roll on. It will get better.
Yeah, it has been. Like, basically,
it will get better.
If we take a broader look at things from the 60s to the 80s to the early 2000s to 2020, there's success there. There's movement.
Well, it's the fact of the matter is, and you see this stuff with the whole Black Lives Matter movement stuff too, right? It's people aren't satisfied with it getting better on slowly. They want it to be finished entirely. And I get that. As a trans person, I would love to wake up and go out and not have people intentionally go out of their way to try and piss me off, or intentionally go out of their way to insult me or treat me like dirt or what have you. I'd love if that was done.
I'm sorry, buddy.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I'm
a strong enough person.
I know you don't.
I'm a strong enough person to understand that person's not going to get a fucking Christmas card from me. That's the way it is.
I can just see it. Well, you're off my list.
Exactly.
I was on your list to begin with.
I was gonna go to your convention until
Oh God. As we're getting emails from Texas, the Mississippi, New Orleans to California, IAG. We're gonna come to Kitchener Comic Con.
exactly.
Uh,
I just take that approach. It's like you're just not gonna get a Christmas card from me. That's all.
yeah, pretty
So
much.
basically, I would love if tomorrow I woke up and everything was perfectly fine, sunshine and rainbows, and I could just live my life normally. Like I'm one of the fortunate ones where when I actually put effort and doll myself up and go out, I can pass fairly easily as my stated gender, where other people can't do that, and other people get lots of hard time all the time about it. But I would love if that was gone, but I also understand it's a process. Like we are far from where we were 20 years ago. We were far from where we were 50 years ago. Et cetera, et cetera. And this is what up to the second part of this is that trans people need to do a better job of not making every goddamn thing into a national fucking crisis.
Yeah, there's that.
Like this is getting to a point where it is outrageous. This ties into The Mandalorian as well.
Oh,
I don't know if
there we go.
people I don't know if people have saw about this, like or seen much about this. Saw about this. Was that Gina Serrano, I think her name is,
Okay.
got fucking raked over the coals recently.
Okay.
Because she did not have her pronouns stated in her bio.
Is that
Call the fucking Pope. Because
Okay.
some bitch needs to get exercised. She does not have her pronouns in her bio on Twitter.
Why would she need to put her pronouns on Twitter?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand this.
Exactly. So there was a group of people, which I'm guessing most of them were trans individuals, that looked up to Cara Dune as a person. I look up to Cara Dune as a character because she's a really strong female character that's not your traditional feminist character.
I look at the character as a character.
Well, let me finish here.
Yeah.
I look at Cara Dune, and I didn't like her at first, right? Because I thought, oh, here we go. Here's the stereotypical feminist insert, blah 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 blah. I didn't like the idea at first.
Yeah.
Gina's portrayal of Cara Dune and the way that Cara carried herself throughout the series had her grow on me. I really, really liked her as a character by the end of it.
Yes, especially when her and the Mandalorian were scrapping it out and stuff like that. Like all that really, really came together. It reminded me a lot of how female action hero characters were portrayed in the 90s, for goodness sake. Exactly. It didn't matter if you're female or male. When you got punched, you got punched.
Exactly.
When you got bested, you got bested. But anyways,
and so like I really liked her, and like as a trans individual, I look up to her because she's not your stereotypical fucking pixie waisted fucking 5 foot nothing character. She's like built. She's like a brick shithouse, but she's not fat. She's like she's just built well, and she's an MMA fighter.
Thick. Exactly.
Like, Gina's like fucking powerhouse, like on screen and off screen. She can fight.
Yes.
She can take a punch and she can give a punch. So it's like she's not your stereotypical like damsel. And that's one thing like that I struggle with as a trans female, because I'm not a fucking damsel either. I'm not a fucking I'm not your fucking 4'5" Asian princess either. Like I'm 6 feet tall. Like I tower over a lot of people. So like I look damn good in a fucking dress though, let me tell you. Yes, but like that's the thing. It's like tall girls don't have a lot of they don't have a lot of role models, because most of like the women, if you look at Ripley, if you look at Laurie Strode, if you look at Sarah Connor, they're all like small women. You don't have like the big powerhouse woman to look up to. And like I've met Haley Wickenheiser. I've met like really powerful, strong, like female role models, and they're amazing people. and they still have their feminine side, like of course. But like that's why I like Gina's portrayal of Cara Dune. And I really, really appreciated it. And I can see why some people in the trans community would gravitate to her as well. But I don't understand why she needed to fucking post her pronouns. And this needed to be some big fucking thing that people...
She didn't.
Again, she didn't need to. So she was resisting it for a very, very long time. And then people were criticizing her and saying that she was transphobic because she wasn't posting her pronouns.
What?
How that equates, I don't understand.
I don't understand either.
Tickle My Tombstone, thank you so much for joining. You're heading off to the sunset. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it.
See you.
We'll see you again. But yeah, like I don't know why people are going after her saying she was transphobic and all this other shit. Like literally has never said anything transphobic, to my knowledge, ever. And so in response to these idiots, she posts her pronouns on Twitter as beep, bop, boop.
That's funny.
And people thought that she was making fun of trans people.
Well, at least she didn't tell someone to eat a dick.
Exactly.
Suggest it.
And so here she is, basically like making fun of these idiots, saying that she has to post something. And so she posted something, and it's not something they wanted.
Uh-oh.
And so now they're losing their fucking minds, saying like, oh, she needs to be canceled. They're adding Disney, saying that Disney needs to remove her from the Mandalorian.
God.
Because she posted beep, bop, boop as a joke against these morons who said she needed to post something. So let me just put this out here. Let me just put this out here because I've gone to bat for the likes of for a number of people, including Doug TenNapel. And because I've had a conversation with Doug TenNapel on his show, his big thing is that he doesn't support gay marriage, which is fine. It's his opinion.
Yep.
He's a fundamentalist Christian, and he had some reservations about trans individuals, but he was open to talking about it. I went on his show, which I'm pretty sure, I don't know if I have it still saved, but it's up there somewhere.
Yeah.
Link is somewhere. But I went on his show a long time ago, and we had a really, really good conversation. People in the chat were expecting me to come on and just like skin him alive, and they were expecting him to skin me alive. But we had a really good conversation. People who were on completely opposite ends of the spectrum, completely opposite ends of the the political and ideological spectrum. Him being fundamentalist Christian, and myself being pagan. So like we had pretty good fun going back and forth, and we had a lot of discussions, and we had a lot of really meaningful discussions. The problem is these people don't fucking care. They just want to push their agenda. They want to jam it in there until it breaks.
Ew.
And what you have to do, if you want people to listen to you, this is directed to the trans community and people out there that I know are going to hit the fucking roof listening to this later. If you want people to listen to you, you have to be open to listening yourself. You have to not be a fucking lunatic when you talk to people, because it's one of those things. It's like if you're having a conversation with someone and you are being irrational and the other person is being rational, who do you think people are going to listen to? Like, I understand that going through life and having people do shit to you sucks. I am 30 something years old. I am closer to 40 than I want to be. All right. So when a 20 something out there tells me that, oh, my entire life I've been oppressed and I have a decade over you. It does not get better, but there are different ways of dealing with it. The problem is that when you argue emotion over fact, you lose the fucking plot.
Yeah, you lose your ground.
You lose the ground, and if you just have nothing but emotion, you don't have a point. So if you want people to start taking you seriously, you have to start looking at all sides of the argument. This is something that Ken talks about a lot. If you want to argue something, then you have to argue the opposite. If you can't argue the opposite argument to your argument, then you're not well versed on it enough.
Yep, you have a faulty proposition.
Exactly. So it's like you have to have a civil discourse. And this is one thing that you're going to notice with a lot of these individuals on Twitter, on social media, on Reddit, on whatever else.
Yep.
There's a lot of individuals out there that basically act like discussing something is like having a gun to your face. They're like, "Oh my god, they want to talk? Oh my god, can you believe it? Can you believe they want to sit down and talk about
I
this?
don't believe that at all. My goodness gracious. Why would someone want to do that in this time of age?
Oh my god."
You should have your opinion, and that should be it in a conversation.
And this is stuff again that we've dealt with like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When we first had our issues with this moron, this bald idiot. We said, "Can we just sit down over coffee and talk things?" Oh my god, I can't believe you want to talk about this.
This is a formal stop and desist. Do not contact me directly or indirectly.
It's like you threaten their firstborn.
With
How dare you attack me with facts and logic?
Why would you bring the blender to our conversation?
I'm calling the FBI. This has been reported to Homeland Security.
Yeah, fuck. I'm a national treasure. Yeah, let's bury it.
It's He says Crumb is close to 40. I'm closer to 40 than I was a year ago. So I'll just say that. I'm not going to give out my age.
Oh,
but I am younger. I'm younger than Ricada. I'm younger than Ricada, so. But yeah, it's like I have experience beyond the years of someone who is 15 to 25. I will say that.
Yeah,
it's
there
like
you go.
I have seen some shit. I have seen people get beaten in the street because of a mere allegation of being gay. I saw that growing up, and that was acceptable at the time, by the way. And that was within my lifetime, so it wasn't very long ago. Let's just say, was not very long ago. So yes, things are shit for people who grew up with nothing but iPads and mean people online. You know, you've never had to. I can guarantee you, most of these individuals have never had to run for their life and scale fucking chain link fences because of an angry mob throwing rocks and threatening to fucking kill them because they were allegedly gay.
Allegedly.
And Toyman says, and we're all younger than Vic. Oof. Poor Vic.
Yeah.
This is true. But it's like here's the thing. It's like there's a lot of individuals right now that want the trans community to be divided. And there are a lot of people that attack anyone who are outliers. I've been attacked multiple times by people from the extreme left trans and LGBT community because of my views on things, because I choose to support people like Doug TeNapel, because I choose to support people that, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'll go out on record and I say I don't support J.K. Rowling because I think that she's a fucking archaic clown that needs to be put back in the closet. But like, I'm not going to sit here and say like everybody that is being called transphobic isn't transphobic, because there are some people that are. I don't think it's a rational idea that, you know, every trans woman ever is just a man trying to masquerade as a woman to get into women's pants. That's really stupid. That's really, really stupid. Yeah. I mean, like that thought fucking fizzled out in the 1980s.
There's other ways to do that, like in a Ferrari.
But like the history is full of shit. It's full of atrocities, and our generation have lived through like basically people that were old enough to understand what happened on September 11th, right? We have lived through some shit. We lived through the Y2K scare. We lived through like multiple end of the fucking world scenarios. We've lived through a fucking massive terrorist attack on our domestic soil. Lots and lots and lots of stuff in the past 30 years.
Goes on. Quite possibly the number one time period of the most terrific things ever. Like, example, how many recessions have we gone through? How many housing bubbles have popped? How many industries that have been around for hundreds of years decide to stop all at once? Star Wars.
I mean, pardon me if someone was mean to you on Tumblr. Pardon me if someone blocked you on Twitter. I don't think those are important things. I mean, they're important things to some people, sure. But the fact of the matter is that there is a lot worse shit that happened out there that people that either don't know about, never researched, or are intentionally forgetting. And
pretty much.
It's like there are absolutely outliers. And like Ragnarok brings up, there was a case not too long ago where a trans woman was in Wisconsin, was arrested and sentenced for 20 years for molesting a 5-year-old girl. Pedophilia is certainly a thing that has been prominent recently, and that transcends gender.
Yep.
There's been lots of female teachers that have been charged. There's been lots of like gay individuals, lesbians that have been found out. It's all of this stuff. It is like across the board.
Yeah.
And that is something that transcends gender, but it seems that there are sections of society that like to pin it on the one group that can't really defend themselves because they don't have a loud enough voice.
Yeah.
So it sucks. I get it. But here's the thing. It's not always what it seems. I always tell people this, and this goes to the Vic situation too. Things are never as bad as they seem, and they're never as good as they seem.
Yeah.
Right. And I've had this conversation recently where people keep asking me, well, what's going to happen if Vic loses? What's going to happen if Vic loses? What's going to happen if Vic loses? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, here's the situation. There's nothing else that can come out. And Ron Toye himself has admitted this, that even if Vic loses the lawsuit, that does not mean it is convicting him of any of the things. It does not mean that any of the things that were said about him were true.
Pretty much.
So here's the thing. If Vic loses the lawsuit, in my opinion, it would be easier for him to come back and like be more productive if he just lost the lawsuit and everything went away. Like, and within 6 months, if the lawsuit comes back, like obviously it would be easier if the lawsuit came back to court and he could win it, but that could take several years, right? Oh. That could take a long time. I think like the path back would be faster if the appeals don't get overturned, just because there is so much evidence, facts, videos, statements by the defendants that completely blow open their narrative.
Yep.
That people are gleefully ignoring.
Oh, there is that, isn't there?
People don't want to look at these things because they're waiting for the big thing to happen. But here's the thing. Like I said, things are never as good as they seem. Things are never as bad as they seem. You need to look at the little details about things to understand. But there is a fucking list from here to Vancouver long of shit that Toye has said, shit that Monica has said, shit that other people have said that blow holes through their narrative that you couldn't even build a bridge over.
Yep.
And Toyman says Vic's already won. He fought back and showed everyone what
I
these
was
folks really like.
Going to say
absolutely
that.
Agree.
Like the thing is that when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter if what takes place in the court of law. What has taken place is that Vic looked around and said, okay, you little fuckers, you're being a bunch of retards. You know what? Woodshed time. And if I'm not in the right, at least I took the step forward and protected myself as best as I possibly can versus throwing false accusations, mean tweets, and other stupid, childish shit such as that. Like, my goodness gracious, on a hockey stick. Like,
exactly.
Vic should be commended on what he's doing moving forward because he just didn't sit back. He didn't disappear. He didn't cancel himself. He first did exactly what his friends asked him to do, which was talk to a therapist and get help. What did Vic do? As I said before, he did all of that, and he was promised that everything would be forgiven and everything would go back to point. But did it happen? It did not.
Here's the thing. Phoenix Orem brought this up briefly in a DM that I had with him. He asked me if I knew what the read technique was, the REID. Okay. It's an interrogation technique.
Awesome.
This is basically what Vic has been assaulted with, was that it's giving him like a bunch of agreeable situations, like, and then getting him to admit to something else that isn't related, but having an emotional reaction is an admission of guilt that they press on. And it's been used to get a bunch of false positive confessions, et cetera, over the many years. And it's a really notorious technique. But the fact of the matter is, it's like what they're trying to do is they're trying to get an admission out of Vic so that they can use that admission to apply it to other things that he didn't admit to, which is what we've seen them doing.
Yeah.
He apologized, so that means he apologizes for these other things. It's like, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
And there's a lot of people, and I had a conversation recently. I had a conversation recently with Vic as well. Yeah. And one thing that people still don't understand, this is what we had to discuss this on the call, is that people still don't get, after 2 years of this lawsuit, that Vic is the plaintiff.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Remember our conversations at City Hall?
Yes. He has never had anything brought up against him. Not even a parking ticket.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Exactly.
So
absolutely not a fucking thing.
It goes back to what we're saying. It's like there's a bunch of individuals out there that are pushing a narrative. It does not matter what the truth is, and they can't coherently argue their point.
And the best default, even if you take all of their points up, every single one, and you break them down to their atoms and basically show that they're incorrect in their deposition and what they're saying, stuff like that, they still don't care.
They don't care.
They still don't care. They'll just basically snap around and go, well, that's just a bad look.
Yeah, we get told that
what?
We
Fuck
got
you.
Well,
Fuck
I
that.
got told that the way that we handled the situation after Kitchener Comic-Con year 1 was a bad PR look 7 years ago.
Yeah. And the thing
guess
is
what happened since that quote unquote bad PR look 7 years ago? You know what happened?
Well,
we set attendance records for our convention. And we set attendance records for our region. We've won the best tourist attraction, the best event in the region.
We've won so many Reader's Choice Awards that we've actually started to lose track.
I think our bad look was okay.
Clients that have come in and year out. Plus, on top of that, we've had guests, international guests, come to Kitchener to actually help boost the local economy. Like, for fuck's sakes, on a hockey stick, for goodness sakes. Like, it's a bad look. I challenge people. What would they do if their dear friends got into trouble?
Now, here's the thing.
What would they fucking do?
I
want to tell you. They'll do fucking nothing. They'll cry and quiver in their fucking little soapboxes and not do a goddamn fucking thing. Shame on them.
Here's the thing, Mr. Hop. It's a bad look because it's something that they can't hold on to. It's something they can't get a fucking grip on, because it's a bad look because they are your opponent, and it is a situation where they cannot get around it. It's a bad look because it works, and they can't dig in on it.
Yeah,
that's why it's a bad look. I mean, in my opinion, if you're my opposition and you don't like something that I'm doing because you can't capitalize on it, then that's a good thing for me.
Yeah,
that's a good thing for me.
Pretty much.
In my opinion. I mean, I'm going to look at success. I'm going to look at track record of success. I'm going to look at future successes. I'm going to use that as a measuring stick. I'm not going to use it as I'm not going to use the opinion of some wahoo on the internet who
Fucking little
doesn't know what they're
busybody
talking about,
nobodies. Goodness Christ.
who doesn't know what they're talking about, who has no experience in that field, saying, "Oh, it's a bad look."
Know the full fucking picture. That's the other beauty thing behind all of this. They don't know the full fucking picture. What's this guy saying here?
So Toyman 99X saying, "Sounds like you guys are winning awards just like how Vic won awards for Star Trek Continues." Exactly.
Yep.
That's the point. Well, I'm really hoping. So, like, I'm trying to get Vic in contact with somebody, which I'm hoping that they would be mutually beneficial for them. And I think that could turn into something really, really big. So fingers are crossed.
Yeah.
Toes are crossed.
We'll
But here's the thing. I've said this to Vic before. I'll say this 1,000 times. I think that him leaving Funimation was the best possible thing for him.
I think so too. Especially what Funimation. Have you heard what Funimation is doing recently? Have you heard about this crazy?
Aside from drilling a fucking hole to China, I don't know.
Well, there's that. This is what they want to do. They want to start curving the content of what's coming out of Japan for their animated productions, to the point they're actually doing panels now and Japan conventions. Just fucking insane. So you got the blue-haired fucking crazy social justice warrior people are basically now going to the production companies and saying, well, in the West, what you're doing here is inappropriate and a lot of people won't like it and they won't buy your product. What? What? Just imagine if those fucking people were around when Akira came out. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, our Ghost in the Shell. Well, the major character looks a little scantily clothed, so maybe we should add a little more color, or maybe a dress to identify that she's an actual female.
Oh,
what?
Boy.
What? And that's exactly where those fucking crazy people are coming from. And what's this guy?
Gab is saying, any chance of getting Vic on the channel in the future, having Robot Ken there as well would be interesting. I mean, awesome. I would honestly. So here's the thing, right?
Yeah. Here's the thing. All right. What's
way back in the day when we started this little broadcast up? Me and Mr. Hop here, we just wanted to do this for fun. We weren't really looking to get notoriety or anything else like that.
Yep.
Then we had Ron Toy on the show, and we got accused of trying to milk the Vic situation and blah 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 blah. It's like we didn't care. We didn't care about getting big or getting famous, right?
Yep.
The support that you guys have shown has been overwhelming. Considering we're approaching our 6-month anniversary show.
6 months.
I know.
This weekend and week out.
It's crazy.
To bring our chat,
so
very best conversations that we could possibly.
I told Vic a long time ago when we were doing the Ron Toy stuff that like I'm not doing this to get attention or get whatever else or blah blah blah. And I'm like, if I wanted to do it for attention, I'm like, I just have you on the show.
Oh,
right. Like,
well,
I just have you, Vic, on the show. So the question is, would he come on the show? I honestly don't know. I would like to float the idea by him for the 6-month anniversary show.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I'm because we put the Toye saga behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Full stop. We put that behind us. Mm-hmm. So I want to give back to the people who have been supporting the show, who have been here. Like we're hitting like numbers that are amazing.
Yep.
Even for a show that's basically been running for 6 months, like we've been doing really, really good.
Especially being Canadian YouTubers.
Oh yeah, exactly.
God. Yeah.
So
really good stuff.
I mean, it's been overwhelmingly awesome, and we really truly appreciate all the support. So I mean, like, have I changed my tune about wanting to get big now? I guess. I mean, I want to grow. I want to grow the channel for the viewers who have been here.
I don't think we necessarily look at this and say, "Do we want to get big?" I think we just want to do more.
Well, I said get bigger. I don't mean big, like Markiplier big. But
oh, good lord.
I'm saying, like, do I want the channel to grow now? Like, I guess, yeah. Like, I mean, you guys have convinced me, like, with your support that you like what we're doing, like we like what we're doing, and we can do more of it. So, yeah, I mean,
if you like what we're doing, keep sharing these videos, keep clacking that like button, hit the Taco Bell button.
Exactly. We locked the toy box. Exactly. We
Yep.
locked the toy box. But do we want Vic on the show? I mean, like, it would be great to have him on. I don't know if he's going to be doing many YouTube shows, like, until the stuff with the appeals goes through. I have no idea. But like, we have tons of like really cool stuff and really interesting stuff we could talk to him about that does not revolve around a lawsuit. So I mean, I'll probably float an idea.
There's so much stuff we could talk about.
I mean,
For goodness gracious.
I could probably float an idea past him. I have no idea if he would take us up on it, or if he's busy or what have you. But I mean, like, if there's people that want him on, I guess that's also a factor as well. I bet.
Well, the thing is that we work what we have with that. Plus, on top that there's other people as well that we're looking into too. So it's all good.
And Toyman's asking, "Am I having fun?" Absolutely, I'm having fun.
Oh, yeah.
I have fun every single week with you folks. You guys keep me on my toes.
And me, well, I'm just here.
Yeah. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been really awesome having people in the chat and talking and asking us questions. And could be saying ultimately what the show has done is made both of you very accessible, and that's something a lot of other conventions can learn from. I agree.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, we're not done yet.
I agree.
Not done yet.
So we have lots of stuff. I mean, like, and what people might not realize is, like, we aren't scripted. Right?
No, God,
we aren't scripted. We
are not scripted for this show.
Everything is just off the cuff. Like, I have like a general idea I throw out there, and then we go for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that'd be pretty.
35 years of broadcasting.
Toyman says convention organizer talk. So here's a question.
Oh,
I'll propose this right now.
All right, propose it to the floor.
Mr. Toyman, Mr. Toyman. Would you be interested in coming on a show with Aaron, and if we could possibly swing it, Vic, to come on and we can all talk about conventions, and we can do all that fun stuff? Because like you've run conventions, we run conventions.
Shop Talk.
Aaron's done convention stuff.
Shop Talk 99.
Gippy's done convention stuff as well.
That's
like
right.
I'd love to have like a mega panel where we talk about conventions and running conventions.
And we could talk over each other and stuff like that. That'd be awesome.
And like if I can convince Vic to come on for that, I think that would be a lot of fun. Because like at least that gets away from the lawsuit talk, and he won't be baited into talking about that. Well, it gets his mind
off of things. Like, for goodness sakes, here on this particular broadcast, we're not single-minded. It's like, oh, Vic, tell us all the things that keep you up at night when it comes down to lawsuit. No, fuck that. We're not.
Yes, just whisper something sexual into the stream.
say that you love everyone. Say it.
I'd like to try and aim to get that thrown together. I mean, like, if not for our 6-month show, because that's coming up in like a week or two, we can probably. Ooh. Yeah, I know. Like, we can probably get that thrown up for some time in October, possibly, if things shake out the right way. But I'd love to. I would love to get Vic on a show like that, where it's like a mega panel and people are there. It's a big talk about conventions, and because then you'll have a bunch of different aspects of it. You'll have the convention running aspect of it. You'll have the con staffer aspect of it, and then you're going to have the guest aspect of it.
Well, that can be fun.
So I think that'd be pretty good.
I think so.
I think that'd be pretty good. So
yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of people that really seem excited about that idea in the chat. So I think we'll try and make that happen.
As we keep saying, we have the bestest chats of all the YouTubes. They come to our show on a week in, week out basis, and they're absolutely wonderful. They're wonderful individuals because they wonderfully come together and wonderfully share their thoughts with us.
Are we going to do a Halloween show? You bet we are.
We might.
It's gonna like Halloween falls on a Saturday this year.
A full moon Saturday, I may add.
A full moon Saturday, so yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Maybe I might do a tarot stream for that one too.
Oh, that's always.
We'll see. I might break out my huntress. I might break out my huntress mask for that one too.
That's scary to me. Slap that thing off. I swear someone's gonna get a fucking Mortal Kombat heel to the neck. Goodness gracious.
It's gonna be a full blue moon.
Yep, full moon happens on a Saturday.
My goodness.
And the way that the COVID stuff's working, I may have to move Zombie Walk to Saturday afternoon, perhaps.
Well, if you're allowed to for the next 28 days.
Well, the
we're
thing
not
is that
allowed
as we were talking about, like, what, yesterday, it's like, oh, Toronto, Peel, and Ottawa, you've been bad. You only get 10 people per event. Everyone else has been good. Okay, now you all been bad.
Well,
You'll
no,
go to the corners.
that's the problem. So for the next 28 days, we're all under this provision.
28 days. That's even funnier if you think about it. 28 days.
28 days later.
Not a documentary. What's it supposed to be? A documentary, for goodness sakes.
Crumb in a huntress mask could probably get some people saying "step on me." Let me just pull up that photo here if I can.
God, no! Don't scare
really
the
quickly.
children, Crumb. Don't scare the children.
I might have to
leave
and come back. I don't know. How do I do this?
I don't know either.
I don't change my picture. Oh, there it is. Edit audio avatar.
There we go. I was going to say we're hitting it. Oh, damn! There it is.
There's my cosplay.
There it is.
There's my cosplay. I have an amazing huntress outfit. Somebody think of the children.
I think we're losing viewers when we switch back.
So that'll be. I'm hoping I'll probably try to get that at least the mask on and my video working, for that stream. So
yeah,
there we go.
There we go. Yay! It's Happy Crumb. That's good.
Oh my goodness! But I think that was we've hit everything.
About you kicking him in the neck with your high heels on. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's not. Huntress doesn't wear high heels. She wears like fucking heavy ass boots
with high heels. You just punch her right in the throat. Little neck comes out. Like
exactly. James is saying with your height, it works well. You make a good huntress. I fucking do. I got that stare down pat too. Like the being really quiet and the staring off with the menacing gaze. Yeah, I got all that shit.
And the funny thing is, if you look at the zombie walk pictures from last year, you could see Crumb all dressed up in the background, sizing up zombies.
I'm also trying to get this to work properly, but it's not been working properly. I have a speaker, like a wireless speaker that I play the Huntress Lullaby through, and I have this fur backpack that I wear it in. So like as I'm walking around, people can hear the Huntress Lullaby.
Theme music on the go.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Doesn't work so well in a great big setting because like it kind of gets drowned out. But
yeah, but at least you got theme music with you. A lot of people.
Thoughts on The Walking Dead ending after season 11? It went on far too long, in my opinion.
Wait a second. The Walking Dead's over now?
I think it's ending.
Oh, it's ending. Okay, you said that. It's ending. It's not ended. It's ending. God, talk about milking a secret cow.
Yeah, like holy cow. I think that was far too long.
I think I dipped out in season 4 or 5 because I was looking at this going, there's no win here. This is an ongoing collection of new characters coming in, old characters going out or dying, and we just replace old character with new character.
Yeah, I think I dropped out after season 3 too. Like Nicholas Smith is saying, I think I dropped out after season 3.
Yeah,
and so it was just more of the same, and it just didn't feel feel well.
Oh, what we got here?
And Gab is asking, serious question for someone who wants to go to Canada, Toronto/Kitchener area when the world isn't on fire. What is the best place that has the best poutine? That's a really good question. So if you're traveling to Toronto or Kitchener, there is a poutinery in Niagara Falls that is absolutely fucking fantastic. But I would say try to find either a Greasy Spoon restaurant or find a Smokes Poutinery.
Yeah,
if you're looking for really good poutines.
Oh my god, some of the stuff they come up with.
Yeah, because like there's like usually like the Gippy is saying like the trucks, like the food trucks, they have really good poutines. Any sort of Greasy Spoon restaurant, really good poutines. But there are poutineries like Smokes Poutinery. There's another poutinery in Niagara Falls that is also fucking top notch. Really, really good stuff. And
also, Montreal is littered with fantastic poutine.
well, yeah, the home of the poutine. So
Exactly. It's just, oh my god.
yeah, those are
Very
great places.
Oh yeah,
Wonderful places. So, but yeah, I think that's about all that we have for today.
Oh really?
Unless
Shit. Hold on, we forgot to do something here. My apologies to Nick Ricator for not getting on the show today. Sorry. I completely forgot. That's my complete bad. Hopefully we can reschedule for next week for the same time. Yeah. Oh well. Sorry, Nick. We'll do this again next week.
Gosh darn it.
Yeah. And also don't forget, chat, we're building the best wall, and the Ricators will pay for it. Very important to keep in mind.
Of course. So unless anybody in the chat, anyone in the chat has something pressing to ask, Mr. Hop, final questions.
Well, I think this is once again a fantastic broadcast between the two of us. We should find not Ken somewhere hiding in the interwebs and pull his robot potato thing to the forefront here. And what's this? What we got?
James is asking, I have a final closing question. Why is Hop lying down? Always wondered about it.
Well, first off, thank you for the question. It's a very smart, thought out, wonderful question to ask.
I mean, Mr. Hop has an office, but he refuses to use it. So,
well, there's that. Plus, on top of that, two things. First thing is that when we did this broadcast, I wanted a different change of scenery because everyone sits in their chair and they look directly into the camera and they do their thing. Well, this show, why don't we just kick back, relax a little bit, and enjoy the broadcast? And I think it's kind of cool. It's just the three of us here talking and having fun. And on top of that, when it really comes down to it, I had some surgery on my right foot, which basically means I had to keep the pressure off of it. And just recently, my left leg got really jealous and swelled to twice its size. So these are fun times I'm going through. So basically, long story short, a little bit of change of scenery, shake things up a little bit, and medical reasons.
And a long way to say he just doesn't really want to clean his office.
Stop it.
Ragnarok Knight's asking, the hell is a poutine? It is a basket of fries with cheese curds and gravy. It is delicious.
Question. Go fucking use your favorite.
No, you can't just Google it. You have to experience a poutine.
This is true.
Thoughts on the Suicide Squad trailer? I really am excited for a James Gunn Suicide Squad.
Yes, my thoughts are all happy ones, especially John Cena playing a Captain America ripoff that uses a gun. Which is absolutely hilarious. Plus, on top of that, James Gunn cannot do any wrong. Anything he makes will be absolutely wonderful, fantastic, and silly.
We have another request for the DuckTales song. Oh my god. It's going to be a meme. It's going to be a meme. I'll do it one day. But that day is not today.
What's this?
The Crumtails song. And James B says, it's certainly different, eye-catching too. I hope you stay cozy and off your feet and heels soon. And I hope the office is dusted.
Well, the big thing is that, again, I've been doing broadcasting for the last, 25, 30 years now. And the thing is, when it really came down to it, if you look at every other talking head on YouTube, where are they? Like, really, where are they? They're in the same position all the time, just doing that. And the thing is that, don't get me wrong, my darlings, I've got ways I'm going to shake things up. And it's going to be absolutely fantastic. But first, I have to heal up. In all honesty, I really, really do. Because the thing is, I can't sit in the chair because it causes circulation beyond my knees for a long period of time. And that's being very, very serious.
Don't shake things up too much. You're above the kitchen, so.
It's true. If it's a rock and roll, then don't come a knocking. But however, I think it's also kind of cool.
Yeah, plus sticker. Go ahead.
Plus, on top of that, showing off this wonderful T-shirt that I got here, so it was pretty cool. So yeah.
Yeah, my camera wasn't busted. I'd be showing off my my exclusive Canuckleheads throw blanket that I'm warming myself with currently.
Yeah. Also, on top of all that, my bedroom's a little smaller than my office, so it's nice for both air conditioning plus on top of that heat as well. So, hey,
But yeah, if you have not already checked out our Patreon, we honestly truly support our patrons, and that has been awesome support, keeping us going. Toyman wants us to pimp the merch, so I guess we have to. Let me pull that up a second here.
if our audience wants us to,
I know, if you really want us to. But yeah, check out our Patreon. We have a few tiers. $5 gets you into the Discord. You can suggest topics to us. You can talk directly to us anytime.
Yep.
And all that good fun stuff. You can do all that right there for $5 a month. If you want to get in on the action, we have a tier all the way up to 50 that lets you be a part of the show every single week if you want to be. No questions asked. You get a link to the show, no matter who it is, no matter when it is. So yeah, check out those tiers. There's everything in between as well. I'm just trying to buy some time while I pull up this Canuckleheads thing here. Let's go. But
there we go. Oh, we're on the other side.
Da-da-da. We got the official Canuckleheads merchandise.
We got t-shirts.
Of
course we got t-shirts.
If you want to buy this wonderful t-shirt,
look at that.
Look at this sexy ass t-shirt.
It's sexy and it's comfy.
It comes in multiple different colors, different color sizes, or different sizes, obviously, different colors. Look at that. It comes straight out of Compton. I am confirmed this t-shirt is made and it ships from Compton. So you are bulletproof OG if you buy this t-shirt. And we also have this amazing blanket. It is nice and comfortable. It is really, really nice in this cold weather. Little Canuckleheads logo in the bottom. It is white on the underside if you want it. You can also pick the color for the underside of the blanket as well. And you can get a sticker.
Stickers. I know I get overly excited when I say this, but my God, if this was the 80s, I have my little sticker book with me, this would be like the highlight of my
I know, right?
And also
so good.
Huge, like silvery and stuff like that, which is always awesome.
So we have some fun merch. The link for the Teespring is below. We also have some other amusing items. I guess I'll show you.
Oh yeah.
Find this.
But wait, folks, there's
more. Let me just find this real quick.
You could get involved with the other merchandise that Crumb has.
Spaceballs merchandise.
Merchandising. Spaceballs toilet paper. We got that.
For anybody that's been following our show for a while, we have some meme stuff. So y'all can go to hell sent from my iPhone merchandise. You want it on an iPhone case? There you go. You can get it on a t-shirt or a wife beater. We also have marked safe from. So either if Studio Comics, Kitchener Comic Con, you can get it marked safe from Twitter mobs. Those are in stickers. You can get mugs.
You could collect all the stickers that Crumb has.
Exactly. And we also have exclusive Major League 4-course.
Yeah.
This was a meme that Ron Toy was a part of. We have let me just see if I can pull this up on here. Here we go. Major League 4-course. We have the wonderful logo of 4-course, and as well on the back of it, Major League 4-course.
Gosh.
With the remote control.
That's right.
We also have the special edition 4-course wife beater. Right. With the 4-course logo on the front and always a remote on your back just to keep you in line.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Keeps you safe. Oh my gosh. Do you remember how the conversation came up when Tori started saying it's like confusing playing a baseball game and you have a fork?
It's like if someone shows up with a fork and a horse and it's like, what are you doing? Exactly. That was so good.
Even I went, what?
And yes, like Toyman was saying, the Patreon. So if you have, I believe it's the $50 Patreon. It's because you get access to every single show at the $50 tier.
Yep.
No questions asked. You can come in and you can sit in the studio and you can listen to us, and you can see all of the secret chats that we have. You can talk to us directly outside of the YouTube chat, And like Toy Man was saying, I highly recommend like that one time when members got to see some very special imagery.
Oh, very,
that
very
was exclusive to the private chat of the studio.
And I gotta tell you that Stan,
So you get
that
to
was
see
absolutely hilarious for that.
that was very, very funny. So you get to see very, very unique things. The $25 tier gets you in on special broadcasts.
Yep.
So when we have specials, you'll get a link to those. No questions asked. The highest tier obviously gets you in every single broadcast.
Yeah.
So there's limited spots there. Grab them while you can. But everything helps. Every patron helps our ability to keep online, keep bringing you brand new stuff, really cool content. So we appreciate all of you.
We do. And the thing is that if you can't get involved with that, there's other ways to get involved with the broadcast. Share the links,
sharing it,
button,
liking it, hitting the comments, and all that stuff helps us.
And we honestly think we deserve your actual subscription, but please don't forget to hit that luscious red subscribe button because that helps us indicate that
if we get our subscribers up to, because we're at like 513 right now. If we get over 1,000, you guys can start super chatting. So
super chats.
I know. Imagine we're reading like $5 super chats tiers immediately. We'll be like the Ricada Light, right? He charges $20 to read right away. We'll just charge $5. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. And that's $5 American dollars, Canadian dollars,
exactly.
Or American. What
$5 Americanos.
There we go. Americanos, some pesos, huh?
So that has been the show. Be sure to stick around because we're debuting our outro. So I'd really like it for you to stick around and watch the outro. But thank you guys so much for hanging out for another successful Canucklehead stream. Oh my goodness. Keep your stick on the ice.
Be kind to each other.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations, and thanks for watching.